Welcome to another episode of Modern Playbook. We were originally going to bring you an episode of Bangers, but we had some technical difficulties, so we're going to do a short roundtable and bring you a surprise episode of Dealer Flipside and ask Caitlin some questions before we get started. So welcome in, and let me do our short intro clip.
All right. Cool. So I just want to, I walked downstairs to get a cup of coffee and I saw the mail for the first time today. And this is sitting in my mail, right? And it's a return thing. It says on the back, it says, "We care. Dear Postal customer, we sincerely regret to inform you to damage to your mail during handling by the Postal Service. We hope this incident did not inconvenience you. We realize that your mail is important to you and they have very right to expect it, blah, 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 all this stuff on the back." This is all that is left of a banker box full of probably 50 trades. What the hell happened to a banker box full of trades that I only get a piece of cardboard with the shipping sticker on it? Fucking Postal Service. Are you kidding me? So
that thing caught on fire. It is gone.
Oh my god, man. I feel bad for Jacob Dunn. I gotta contact Jacob Dunn and tell him that his part of it, but I did insure that for $200. So we'll see if I think that will pay for those trades. We'll see.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So we've been wanting to get Kaylin on the channel for a while now. I think that one of the most interesting things about Whatnot is finding new people in the community, new content creators, and fresh faces. And there is no fresher face than this kid right here, man. This kid is exciting to watch. There's something about you, brother. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's the fact that you're dropping nothing but slabs on regular rotation every 30 seconds or so. Just like every book in the world is slabbed. And before we started this show, Joe was talking about how you told him you want to slab the world.
Oh yeah. Our goal is basically to get every high value, every book, not high value, like every book that has, how do I explain? Everything that's like a major book in some way into a slab. So not like a completely random book, but like
a cool cover by a cool creator.
Yeah, like for instance, some people won't slab like certain books, and like the Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine. That's a good example. Like those books go for like $100 each slab, but no one slabs them. I don't know why.
Yeah,
there's some awesome covers. There's this one cover of Wolverine just like ripping a shark to bits underwater. It's insane. There's like 2 copies in the world.
How'd you get into this, bro? How'd you get into selling comics?
So I actually learned how to read from comics. Both my parents collected comics when they were growing up, and my dad just had these boxes of comics when I was younger that I knew, so I knew they were valuable because they were like tucked away under the stairs. They're like an investment sort of thing from when he was younger. He worked in a comic shop when he was in middle school to pay for his comics, and he was really into them. So then I grew up reading like the trade paperback Spider-Man stuff, like the Amazing Spider-Man collections. And then I would go to garage sales and just find like piles of books and work my magic as like a 5-year-old kid, being like, I only have 25 cents. How many can I have? They're like, take the whole box. So I would just get all these boxes of beat up comics and read them every night before bed. And then I didn't really have money for like new books and stuff, but I always have a love for comics. And as I got older, I just came into like different collections of stuff. And my uncle owned 2 comic shops down in San Diego.
Wow.
And so
does he still own them? Does he still own the shops?
He actually passed away.
Okay. What was the name of the shops, if you don't mind me asking? Is it cool?
Call Me Kaze.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
And so after he passed away, it was right before quarantine, maybe like a few months before quarantine, and that's when I really got into comics. And right before quarantine is when I started selling comics and buying collections and just picking up a whole bunch of stuff and kind of, learning what I was doing around the cell.
Bro, you hit a wave. Like you hit the wave right at the right point where we were all waiting for it and you just happened to walk onto it. You know what I mean? Like right at the point where everything started going crazy. And the wackiest thing ever happened, which is you could sell comics for a lot of money in your house when everybody is freaking out in the world. You know what I mean? You could go to work. And it's exciting. It's very exciting. And what did you start on? What platform did you start on? eBay?
Let's see. It's a little bit. I don't remember if I started on Facebook or eBay. I think I did some listings on eBay and I got like no hits, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I think the first slab book that I ever sold was a 9.8 Venom Lethal Protector 1 Gold Edition. I was with CGC at the time, and I sold that on Facebook for $500 like 2 years ago. That was the first book I ever sold.
That's a pretty damn good book to sell. That's a pretty damn good book to sell, man. Did you do Facebook live marketplace at all over there?
Not really. I never really wanted to show my face before. And even on Whatnot, for like the first month, I don't think I showed my face once. I just like being behind the camera.
Yeah.
Kind of off to the side and just letting the book show. But
I think that's probably what Whatnot is so great for. And I know we talk about it a lot on this, and all the people in the comments are like, fucking Whatnot, man. Every show Whatnot. I get it. But it is the hot place right now. And I think one of the things that reason that it is good is because you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. You can just be yourself. You can be behind the camera. You can put a book up. And it becomes good watching content. You're fun to watch. Even if I'm not going to buy anything, I'll chill and watch you. There's certain people on Whatnot that I can do that with. JJ, John Jesperson, I think is his last name. JJ, if I messed up your last name, I apologize. From JJ's Comics and Art. He's another guy. Love watching that guy. They bring a part to the show, an energy to the show, a little bit of humor, a little bit of fun. And it makes it good content to watch. So congrats, brother. You're doing it. Like, other than selling books and selling good books and finding good collections, you've got what a lot of people don't have, and that's that charisma. So keep
Brian, I was telling you the other night, so Kaylin had up an auction, and it was probably like a $40-$50 book, and the bidding started climbing, and Kaylin goes, whoa, nobody else bid because I don't want anybody paying over fair market value for this book. And I was floored because that takes integrity to do something like that. Anybody else would have just let that book go to the moon. And I told Kaylin that was so impressive being, being young. And because when you're young, kids these days, but for Kaylin to
kids when I was a kid, I mean, it doesn't mean these days, kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't care about that stuff.
Right. And for him to have that integrity to say, hey, don't bid any more on this book. It's only worth this, and he puts the comps on his slabs. Hey, this is the last sale.
Yes,
for that,
I think that's
because
excellent.
He's not trying to mislead anybody, and that takes integrity. And
how long?
And that goes a long way in this hobby.
How long does it take you to set up a show when you're running your slab shows?
So it's actually pretty quick. So it depends on what part of it. Like the actual loading in of the slabs, I trust everybody to kind of like, I explain the book every time. I put the comps there. I try to make sure that we have as much integrity as possible, that people don't overpay. And I just label everything as a slobby patty. Like, I don't put every individual book and grade in. So it's really quick to add them in. And then during the show, I just explain what's going up. But like, preparing for the show can take anywhere from 30 minutes if I know all the books and I know the comps and stuff, to like a couple hours depending. If people are asking for specific stuff, like one of the last shows, people were asking for Akira and Ghost in the Shell, like really obscure, like early anime stuff. And I had some of that, but it took me forever to hunt it down.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems with Whatnot right now, is that there's this weird time thing that also interacts with the auction. And I've been talking about a lot with other live selling platforms. If you're able just to say, here are the books, these are how much they are, put them behind you on a wall, or, and constantly be saying, this is what I have and this is how much it is. If there was an easier way, a GUI involved, to say, buy, sell these things, it would be much easier. It's kind of hard to, deal with people saying, hey, I want this, I want that, with having to put the time things up there, because I think at this point, everybody's just jumping from show to show, jumping from show to show.
Oh yeah.
So, it's very interesting. How many books are you grading a month right now?
Like 2,000.
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing.
What? How do you afford that?
He's making bank on fucking Whatnot, bro.
We just take all the money and reinvest it in grading.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Congrats, dude. Good for you.
That's awesome. Picking up collections locally, or are you going out of state yet to pick up stuff?
Oh yeah. Anywhere we can find big collections.
Do you have them shipped in, or do you go pick them up?
It depends. Usually the furthest we'll drive is like 12 hours. So if it's further than that, we'll have a shift.
Impressive.
Do you ask for a lot of pictures before? I mean, obviously you just don't.
Oh yeah. Okay. We don't just drive up. When we source collections, we need to have a very good idea of what we're getting.
Nice. Man, that's amazing. That's really good. Well, let's get into some dealer Flipside with you, man. I would love to, have you for a couple of more minutes. We can take part in a couple of dealer Flipside in here, and I appreciate you coming on. I would love to have you come on whenever you have a chance, brother. You're more than welcome to come hang out and shoot the shit, talk comics with us, and promote your stuff, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. So since most people don't have the signs, I would assume we'll just go like pointing up or down, and then through the smaller window of a new computer I have, I'm going to try to pick out the people I can see which way they're pointing. But if you haven't played before, I will present two books that are similar in price. It could be similar in grade, I'm not sure. And then I'll pick two panels to discuss, and then as the discussion is going on, I will add the poll so the audience can pick as well. And then let's go ahead and get into our first round though. All right, so our first set, we're gonna have Timely Comics, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1, CGC 9.0 that sold for $41.04 versus a Batman The Long Halloween #1, CGC 7.5 that sold for $38. All right, I'll give y'all a minute to decide, and then I will ask you to point up or down or hold up your sign, depending on whichever one you have. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go with our guests, Kaylin and Josh.
Okay, I'm just explaining why I think that one is a better investment than the upper one, right?
Yeah,
correct.
This is a really iconic Batman series, really important for Batman collectors, and also older. And there's like the thing is, for older books there are a lot out there, but the percentage that aren't 9.8 is pretty immense. So DC is pretty obviously undervalued right now. Everyone knows it, but no one knows when they're going to pick back up. And it's Batman, which is the major title. If they build the DCU, he's going to be a big part of it. This is an important series. I mean, that's pretty much it to me. Versus modern spec stuff, I just feel like it has more long-term potential.
Excellent.
So I went with the Moon Girl. That's the Timely Comics. So that's a super tough book. I mean, it is a 9.0, but at $40, I wouldn't have passed that up if I would have saw it. I mean, she's getting her own Disney show soon. She's getting a new comic book series released. That's a hard book to find, and I just think that book has some potential in the future.
Oh shit, I'm on my phone. I take it back. I would go with the Moon Girl too. I thought we were looking at 9.8s. I'm looking at this tiny ass screen. I can't read shit. Yeah, I switched my answer. I thought I'm just looking from like hella far away. I can't see anything besides for the covers. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So then we'll switch Caitlin's answer with Dollar's answer because I saw him pointing towards the Long Halloween. Then, what's a Dollar?
Hey, what's up? Honestly, I don't know much about the Timely Comics version other than it's rare. And with those rare, low, under ordered printed books, 9.8s don't really, figure in as much as they would with something like, Avengers 53 that just came out or something like that. On the other hand, Batman The Long Halloween, there is a lot of heat behind this book. It's a tough book, especially in any high grade. I'm surprised you got a 7.5. I see color rub on the back of those consistently. Very hard book to press. But yeah, I mean, the first thing I'd be looking at with the Batman Long Halloween is I'd be looking to see if there's like our boy Redhead would say, any meat on the bone to see if we can CPR that biatch, get a better grade. And if not, and that's what we have to deal with, then I would probably just throw it in the long box at $38 and wait until the Batman content with the Long Halloween script comes out and flip it. With Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur, the Timely Comics, I just think, I mean, shout out to Mel. I mean, he's been on this since Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur since I met him 6 years ago. And and I like the series. I collect all the books or what have you. On the other hand, it is a kids animation content, so to speak, different than the what if stuff we got from the MCU D+ stuff. It is still part of the MCU, but case in point is that they revealed that Beyonder was the villain in that series, and those books haven't really done anything. I know that's a messy first appearance, and that's a whole nother conversation, but I don't know. I just don't see this thing, unless it's a total kick-ass animation. I just don't see this book really climbing.
That Timely book also, Carter, isn't that the one you were talking about the other night that has the horrendous Marvel paper on that cover?
Yes.
That is just Tear City. So even
like
seeing a 9.0.
super thin cover.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the year 2016 where it was like the worst, and then now it's like literally the interior pages are the same as the cover.
I pressed a few of them for Robert Fordham, and I think they came back like I think we got a couple of 9.8s, but it was a bitch because we had to mend some of the corners. Luckily, the fibers were able to adhere to each other, and I think we got a couple of 9.8s.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't the Timely also include more than one issue? It's like 3 issues.
Yeah, it's a fatty book. It's like those Marvel Point ones, the real fatty ones, man. But the paper on this Moon Girl, it's like dog shit. It's fucking thin. If that makes sense. It feels like an inner page. That's how thin it is.
Wait, is this does it have issues 1 through 3 in it?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like those Marvel must-haves, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
NYX.
Yeah. And then is a Long Halloween, is that a square bound book?
Yes, it is, and
Yeah.
it's a bitch.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
bitch to
big
press.
time.
And then
yeah.
the other thing I wanted to point out too is that at certain movie theaters, they're giving away a new cover for seeing Batman, and it's the Long Halloween. Like,
Very cool.
yeah, I want to say,
Well, we all knew that for the longest time. We all knew this was going to be a 3-movie thing where it was going to just be the little stories that tell the whole big story.
right,
A lot of people are saying that the Riddler is not the real villain that they want us all. It's just the first series villain. So
yeah, and then I want to say they're already approaching the $25-$30 mark for raw copies from the movie theater. So I thought that was
Nice.
kind of, yeah. So that was another reason why I chose the 7.5, because I was just like, kind of like,
Honestly, I just want to add one more thing. Hate to say this, but if I got a 7.5 in that and there was no color rub or some obvious damage, I'd probably just crack it and sell it raw.
Yeah. Sometimes the value, people will buy a raw instead of a 7.5, even though they're the same goddamn book.
yeah.
It's not like I throw a grade on there most of the time, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it you, Mercenot, that had something like similar to that on their Instagram post, like asking like, what's the point of grading books that are like a 9.4 or not 9.6 or higher if it's gonna get this much money for that 9.4?
Yeah,
I
it
think
seems like the Ultimate Fallout 4s.
Yeah.
The raw copies that I'd seen that weren't in that great of shape, that were probably 9.4s, are literally getting the same amount as graded 9.4s. So it's kind of like, is it worth it to get it graded if you're gonna just sell it for the same amount?
all right.
So
And
I would think people would be picking up the raws in a supposed 9.4 with the opportunity to press up, as opposed to cracking a slab where it's a little more difficult,
Right.
to level up, if that makes sense.
Yep.
yeah,
all right, and let's see what the audience thinks. So 75% chose the Timely Comics Moon Girl #1, 75%, and then 25% chose the Batman Long Halloween. All right. And the prices will keep on increasing as we keep on going. So our next comparison is going to be a Vision #1 CGC 9.6, the hip hop variant, versus a Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #1 CGC 9.6. All right, I'll give y'all a second to decide. All right, hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, am I gonna be the only one with the hip hop? All
You
right.
got to be kidding, Aaron.
Tony's got it right.
Who? Okay, yeah. So we'll go with Tony, and who hasn't gone yet? Let's go with Phil.
All right. That's it, guys. I've got some stuff I have to do. Thank you for having me on. It was,
Thank you,
Absolutely,
brother.
Caleb.
I will come back.
Yeah.
No,
so make
I'll
sure
get-
everyone's following Kaylin on Whatnot. And then, do you have an Instagram that people can hit you up on?
Oh yeah, it's Kalen's Collectibles on Instagram as well.
Awesome.
I'll
Sweet.
just
Thank
give
you, brother.
Kaylin my pick if you want to go, man. If you
Thank
want
you.
my pick.
No, I'm good. We've got some stuff we have to do.
Thank you,
for
brother.
having me.
We'll talk to you
All right,
later,
man.
man. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming
Awesome,
on. We
bro.
appreciate it.
We'll invite you again.
Awesome. Have a good stream, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Good
All right.
kid.
Tony,
Right,
you want to
Phil,
go
guy.
first?
I'll elect to kick. All right.
Okay.
No. Yeah. No. I chose Vision 1, 9.6. I like both books. I love both books. I don't think that's a bad price on the Secret Wars. I
Cheap.
think the Secret Wars. If I'm looking for that book, I'm trying to find the newsstand, even though statistically it shouldn't be more valuable, but they just do command a premium. I just don't see that book. I guess maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't think the Secret Wars is going down, but I don't think that's going to skyrocket either. That's going to see just a nice bubbling staying around the same price, rising a little bit each year. I think obviously we know there will be a Secret Wars movie at some point. We'll see a big bump at that point in time. But I'm going with the top. It checks off a few boxes for me. It's a high grade copy of, look at that spine. To get a 9.6 and 9.8 for that book is impressive anyways. It is the first appearance of Viv Vision. So she it doesn't look like she really fits in the MCU plans at this point. But I don't think there's any reason to give up on her either. She's in the comics. She's become a really important part of that next generation. So Viv Vision, and then just that it's a hip hop variant, man. Those are just the popularity with those, the value of those keeps simmering up as well. So I just think the top book has a lot more going for it. In a year or 2 years time, I think it'll be a stark difference in price.
Cool. Yeah, I like hip hop covers too. I just saw that Department of Truth. There's a hip hop variant that just got canceled. So I don't know if there are going to be more since then. I don't going forward, but I think I speculate on the speculator, and I like the Marvel superhero Secret Wars 1. Looks like there's a closer pathway for that to happen in live action, and if that book gets back to like what $900 and CGC 9.8, this 9.6 is easily going to be like probably a flip for $300 sometime in the future, right? So and you also got that factor of like, people are chasing that blue Galactus in there. I don't think CGC annotates that.
I love that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the purple Galactus is more rare, right, Phil?
I thought that the blue or the
blue
purple
is
Galactus.
I've had 20 copies of this book of all blue.
Yeah. So the blue I heard is more common, right?
Okay. No, so the blue is most of the blues are going to be with the newsstand.
Yeah, the blues are newsstand. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a chance the purple's in there then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the
That's
purple
huge.
Galactus with the transparent Spidey. With the black Spidey, it's the second print.
I didn't know that. That's great info. Thanks.
Yeah, here you go. Let me show this just real quick because this is a very good little screenshot of it. Of course, Recalled Comics, one of the greatest comic websites ever. They explain it. I'll drop a link in the chat where they explain it. The newsstand has the blue and white, whereas the first print direct has a good stuff.
Interesting.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that website, and the only reason why I'm kind of hesitant on Marvel superhero Secret Wars stuff is that, does anyone else on the panel feel like they're actually not going to base Secret Wars off of that run and base it off of the...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah.
You don't think it matters?
We didn't get the full Infinity Gauntlet story, right? So
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MCU has their own continuity. They'll probably take something from each and then throw in their other stuff from themselves. So, and if announce it and confirm Secret Wars, I think this book could literally explode.
I wish I cared about Secret Wars as much as y'all did.
No, I mean, like historically, it's an important book. It's very important. Like, this is the first major event before there was events, right? So this put all the superheroes against all the evil villains. This is the first time they ever fucking did this.
How can you not like that cover, man?
I'll take Marvel Age 12.
Right. Okay, so look, this is the first time they ever did this. Like, do all these superheroes against evil villains. Now it's done all the time. You have events like this done all the goddamn time, every summertime, right? This was the first time they did a major event like this. Of course, DC, they claimed that, Crisis was in the works, and Marvel knew that they were doing that. So Marvel jumped on this before DC. Well, fuck DC, and that's their fault for not putting out Crisis when they should have put it out. But this was spawned from toys. They wanted to pair the comic and introduce this toy line, from the Secret Wars toys. But this is an important book, like and like that cover, like they turned that into posters, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like
I own a
if you're a
print
fan,
of this.
collectability, if you're a fan of comic books, it's an
Yeah.
important book. It's a must have.
Yeah.
I'd say the
Oh,
whole series is.
yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely,
1 through
man.
12.
Yeah, that don't even get me started, bro.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe.
I don't think it's got anything wrong with it, but I guess I kind of see it keeping the arc of like Infinity Gauntlet #1. I mean, it's still a great book. I still pick it up if it's in decent, a decent price, but it didn't light the world on fire when the movies came out. And now that plot line is past, it's just it's a nostalgia piece. They're not going to do
Yeah.
that again. So
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Like, we would love all our books to keep going up and up and up and never stop coming. And
right.
But the reality is, it's going to find that plateau and it's going to stay there. But will the bottom just drop out of that book? Absolutely not. So, like, if you want to invest, in a book like that 9.6, like, that's crackable, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
to level up to get a 9.8, that's what you're looking for right there. Those
Jim
books-
Shooter story, Mike Zeck cover, right?
Yeah.
Is it Stranko or Mike Zeck?
It should be Mike Zeck.
Yeah, Zach.
Unbelievable.
Because I have a print of this and it's 3 times signed by BD, Zach, and Shooter.
Yeah. I was just curious, so I checked the census on the Vision, and it's census numbers don't reflect print run necessarily. It reflects what people are sending in to get graded. But the census numbers are the same between this one and the Sook variant, which is the 1 in 25, which in a 9.8 is hovering a little bit below $1,000. I wouldn't be surprised if the print run on the hip hop and the Sook variant were similar. So I think this is the second best first appearance of Viv to grab.
You're probably right, man. That cover's black, bro. Like,
That's
shit.
tough, man.
Like, and you know how they're grading it. They see so much as a particle on that book that looks white. 9.6.
Mhm.
Also, that's a top 5 hip hop cover, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
I
that?
mean,
Yeah, that's definitely top 5, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much.
And it could be like also like what one of those qualifier hip hop
Yeah.
covers as well.
Percentile qualifier. Yeah, there's a few like
Yeah.
1 in 50 or 1 in 100s, but those are like in humans or something like that. Yeah, good point.
You know what? They're only $120. Just fucking buy both of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, for $250, that's a deal.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. We're gonna buy both.
Yep.
All right.
There we go.
But Joe
And
makes a
let's-
lot of good points. I really agree with him on all his points. And Tony, you too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to buy both now.
All right, let's see what the audience thinks. So at this price, 68% chose the Secret Wars #1, and 31% chose the Vision #1. Let's see what our next comparison is. How about Daredevil #10, the origin and cover of Echo, CGC 9.8, versus the House of Slaughter #1, CGC 9.8, the Tiny Onion founder exclusive release that sold for $250.
It's a tough one. Just because I found that Daredevil 10 so many times in freaking dollar boxes.
Right? And then you had to pay what, $250 to get this Substack exclusive?
Oh, wow. I didn't. Oh, okay. That's a good point.
Not trying to lean anyone towards one way or the other, but yeah. I thought this was a pretty funny comment.
This Echo doesn't suck.
Hold up your signs. And 3, 2, 1.
Oh man, I don't.
It's some David Mack goodness.
Ooh, we got a Mercenaut and
I don't.
You seem hesitant. let's do Mercenary and Brian. I haven't heard Brian on the Dealer Flipside in a while.
No shit, it's been a long time.
I'll say this. I'm over the House of Slaughter stuff. I'm over the Tiny Onion Substack stuff. Over it. I think it's cheesy. I really like the David Mack Daredevil number 10 cover. One of the best David Mack covers, probably maybe top 3 best, maybe top 2 best Echo covers, maybe top 3. I'll say top 3 best Echo covers. I know Echo got a lot of hate in the show, but I think that they have plans for this character. I think that that stuff will change. Just needs a little bit better writing for her. And we'll see what happens with the Daredevil series, right? I think that's the most important thing. So, yeah, all day on that 9.8 over the House of Slaughter.
I agree, and I really don't give a damn about the House of Slaughter. The only reason why, because I had the Daredevil, but then I realized, oh, that's not number 9, and then I kind of changed it. But I'm over the House of Slaughter. But I figured, as far as investments go, short term, I think that the House of Slaughter might be a better flip. I guess. You know what I'm talking short term, not long term.
Like real short term.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we start seeing production or rumors about her on the Daredevil set or whatever they're trying to fake call it right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm kind of. I haven't even bought anything House of Slaughter, so. But I don't know. I actually do like that first Echo cover though, so I might be I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm actually like this. You know what I mean? But I guess just short term thinking, House of Slaughter.
Is anybody pro Slaughter? Somebody pro Slaughter.
No pro Slaughter, but I gotta add Daredevil, something to Mercenaut's choice. I agree with him on all aspects. It's a little confusing to me in the sense that why are raw near mint copies going for $90 to $100 and a 9.8 is only $250 to $300 with bin or BOs at $350, $399. That tells me that there's some room and that thing's going to eventually climb once investors notice that gap. And this is one of the books with that. So a $90 to $100 raw book, a 9.8 typically in a modern, like something like this should be $500 or maybe like $450, $500 at least.
Yeah,
so
it went for cheap.
It's a good deal. There's meat on the bone, like Joe likes to say.
Yeah, man.
Well, and then I think with the Hawkeye series, like it wasn't really supposed to be a focus around Echo, right? It's supposed to be a focus around Kate Bishop. So, like, they would have titled it that way, right? So even though, I don't think I think it would have been more distracting that if it focused more on Echo and then she overtook the show, then it wouldn't have been a great Hawkeye series, right?
Yeah, I look at it as just it was like a prequel. Like the next show that she's in, it's gonna be her show. Like that was just a prequel. Like here she is. This is who she is.
Can't wait.
Right, and then and it definitely ticked up the price of the book a little bit, and then we're in that dip right now, right? So, and then for House of Slaughter, the read's all right. It's no something is killing the children, but yeah, as you can see in the comments of people's natural reactions to it.
Yeah, I just want to say you said it cost $250 to get that book, and then they paid to get it slabbed, and then they only sold it for $249, and then they lost money on eBay fees.
Yep.
All right. I do like with Echo, every once in a while we see this where Marvel decides to use a lower tier character. Like 5 years ago, there were a large number of Marvel readers who had no idea who Echo was. If you didn't read that run, if you didn't pick up books that she was in, she hadn't had her own title, she hadn't been in any other media. But for whatever reason, Marvel, chose her, Feige anointed her, and now we're seeing her graduate from like a D-list character, and she's not A-list, probably not going to be A-list, but she's going to get bumps up by getting more feature comics. She's had a couple title series. She's getting a lot of covers. She showed up in Hawkeye. She's going to have her own series. Her awareness, the awareness of her in the general public is just going to go up. And as that happens, we saw that with like a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. We even saw that with Iron Man. He was a C-list character before Marvel, launched him into the stratosphere. Not that she's going to be Iron Man, but she's in that process right now of kind of graduating up. So we're going to get these opportunities to buy on her key books.
The actress playing Echo needs to smile more.
Yes.
Yeah, she's cute too. I just checked raw copies of the Tiny Onion founder exclusive, selling for like between 30 and 50. So I'd say an average of about $40. And
really,
it's fetching 250 plus shipping compared to a $90 to $100 book near mint that's fetching around the same. It's just that gap will be made up. So I think that the issue 1098 is a no-brainer for that price.
The other crazy part about this Tiny Onion one is that you have to watch out for the covers, because some of the background ones, he was selling some out of his store that have like a slightly different background color, right?
I give up. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking James Tinian. Man, go on, boy, go on.
All right.
Is that what the Tiny Onion is? Tinian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they didn't get a copy of Razor Blades.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I heard a lot of people got screwed on that.
All right. So 82% of the audience chose the Daredevil number 10, and then 17% chose the House of Slaughter.
Nice.
All right. What do we have next?
It feels good. It feels good to have the family back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love everybody being on the fucking show, man. Fucking awesome.
The band's back together. All right. So we have Amazing Spider-Man number 252 newsstand CGC 9.2 that sold for $350 versus The Killing Joke CGC 9.8 that sold for $350.
Fuck.
Oh, shucks.
Fuck.
Is this a tough one?
This is a tough one. This is really tough,
bro.
This is tough.
Are they getting tougher as we're going? I mean, they're increasing in price, obviously, but
this is tough.
You're going from Dollar General to Target. I like it. I'm ready.
All right. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's go with Josh and Dollar.
Oh God, I was hoping you didn't pick me. Go ahead, Josh. You can go first.
Well, the main reason I picked this is, as most people on this panel know, I have me and my girlfriend have an insane Killing Joke cover set going on. So we have like 52 of these from all over the world. But this
Are
is.
you saying you and your girlfriend go on killing sprees? Is that what you're saying?
Josh dresses up like the Joker, bro.
Yeah. So that's the main reason I picked it. But also, when I think of this book, I just think of iconic. I don't know if anyone has the iconic sign. This is when I think of DC and the Joker. Like this is the book I think of. And I don't know how hard it is to get in a 9.8, but I feel like this is a book that it's not going to shoot up, but I feel like it might just keep slowly going up over time. But mainly I picked it just because I love it.
You said hard and shoot in the same sentence.
Pew.
Just saying.
the audience could see my iconic sign, but y'all probably couldn't because I have the live bar over my head.
Interesting. I was just looking at Batman Killing Joke and ASM 252 just in my CLZ. I have them both. Thank you. They're not slab though. The 9.2, first thought that comes to mind, of course, is to see if we can get anything, out of a CPR. And if I have to stick with the 9.2, I'm really glad it's a newsstand high grade, even though, like Tony says, it's we're a little more common than direct, or maybe 50-50. I'm not sure. But case in point is that it was tough to get a high grade newsstand during that time. Anything above, I'd say 9.2 and above, especially with the shirt and tie comic book reader who rolls it up in his back pocket and takes it to the shitter and takes it home to the kids, and the kids tear it up or whatever. Plus you got the iconic AF-15 homage. You got the first black costume, which is a tie with two other books, but I believe it's in 616 continuity. This one, I'm not sure if the Marvel Team Up 141 and the other ones are, but it's just a sought after book. I mean, this book was selling for like $250. There were a few $350 outlier sales like in December or what have you, but I remember this book was like $250, $275, and 9.2, I think like maybe $350, around 9.4, and now it's already up to $350. So it's slowly climbing. The Batman Killing Joke 1. Here's the thing with the Batman Killing Joke 1. It's a must-have. It's definitely a DC Grail. So this first print, but man, there's so many prints of that book. It just turned me off of that book. I just stopped kind of searching for that book. So, I mean, I'd like to have a 9.8 Batman Killing Joke 1, but on the other hand, I just see that there's more wiggle room with the from an investor point of view with ASM 252 first black costume, especially like Josh brought up the fact that in Spider-Man No Way Home, the piece of symbiote was left in the MCU or in the Earth 19999, Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. So, we could see a lot more coming down the chute with this black suit story and or Venom in the MCU. So
would this book be considered too violent, like The Killing Joke, if like say solicits got out and maybe somebody got some sneak peeks of this and then released some screenshots of inside The Killing Joke? Like there would be some fucking controversy over this book, like it's a pretty important book. Both books are important, but I think the Killing Joke, like people would have a problem with this book right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of violent stuff out there, but like just the what it insinuates, especially, so that's my take.
Yeah. Am I wrong in thinking that top book, like 4 years ago, that was like a $60 book, wasn't it?
Yep.
I bought a 9.6 for like $200. Maybe not even that.
It seemed like it was like Secret Wars 8 that everybody was looking for at the beginning, and then the news or platforms came out with the information about the tie on historical release. Was it Marvel Team Up 141, ASM 252? What was the other one? It was
Spectacular Spider-Man 90.
90. Okay, yeah. So yeah, they all came out the same day, supposedly, right? So I mean,
yeah, something like the same month or week or whatever.
That all came out, and then the ASM 3, the McFarlane books just exploded, and next thing you know, this thing is just through the roof.
Yeah.
Like Tony, what you're saying, I remember going on the secondary looking for this book in high grade raw, and they were between $40 and $65, and Good luck now. I'll be
Like-
frank with you though. Everybody on the panel, I'm going to ask all you guys, if you guys were in a dollar bin box, you could only afford to buy one book, and these two books popped up. Which one would you buy? To me, I would buy the ASM 252 in a second.
And we're saying they're both in the same condition, just to
Yeah.
clarify. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm buying Spider-Man.
It'd be really hard for me to pass on the Killing
Yeah.
Joke. I mean, but yeah, it'd be really hard for me to pass on the Killing Joke.
Mhm.
But I mean, it never hurts to have an extra Spider-Man book.
You know, we have that term, iconic, right? But I think there needs to be a term like game changer. Like these books were game changers. Like it
Yeah.
spawned events that happened that moved the needle for both companies, and well, the Killing Joke especially, it put a lot more realism into comics. You know, it started with Frank Miller's Dark Knight, but this right behind there, with such a phenomenal writer with Alan Moore, the touch of realism, like just that's what you're seeing in the MCU now, and that's what you're seeing in like the Dark Knight movies, like the realism with these comic booky characters. Like
Mhm.
it changed the game. Like they're not funny books anymore. Type of
Yeah.
and the ASM, like the jolt of energy that put into ASM, because ASM, yeah, it was a top selling comic, but when they put the black suit on Peter Parker, that 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 changed the game. Like comic book sales, like it doubled. Like shame on them. They should go get the kid they gave $300 to for the idea of the black suit. They should go give him a check, bro.
He should sue.
Yeah,
I think important is a good word too.
yeah,
They're
important.
They're both important.
Right. I
Mhm.
mean, but I definitely agree with you, Joe, that that I say that all the time as well, that the Killing Joke definitely helped shape how modern comics are, right? Because otherwise, they just be trying to do the same old, Dark Knight, Killing Joke, like basically anything Alan Moore did definitely like progressed where comics are today. So I always like to say that they're like the fathers of modern comics, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a good word to use. I mean, I've got a damn big ass Killing Joke, like graphic, like everything you want to know about the Killing Joke, and the outline and everything, and like Alan Moore's, like if you look at, he wrote 5 paragraphs, bro, and turned this into a book. Are you serious? That's how great of a writer he is.
Yeah.
Like that's not even funny, man. It takes a lot. It takes people 5 paragraphs to get the story started. Like,
Right.
and they, it's so good they turn it into an animated movie, but the animated movie wasn't like, but it makes you think eventually this could be made into a movie
Mm.
and done the right way. That would be
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, I would probably 99.9% of the time I'd pick anything Marvel over DC, but to me this is the one book that would at least
it's a
make
little
me
bit different.
stop and think about it.
All right, and let's see what the audience thinks. So we have audience tie, 50-50%.
Damn.
So yeah, which is
Yeah,
not
buy both. Buy both. bro. That's like Deion Sanders, right? What is it going to be, Deion? Football or baseball? Both.
All right, let's see.
Receiving or defense?
Receiving or defense? Both.
Both.
All right, how about this comparison? So we have New Avengers number 7, CGC
man.
9.8, that sold for
Oh,
$500
easy.
bucks, versus CGC 9.6, Star Wars Heir to the Empire number 1.
So
that sold
my blood sport. No, bottom one.
All right. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. Is it unanimous? Ooh, it looks like it's a unanimous decision all across the board. Does anyone want to play devil's advocate, or are we just going to be sounding like a broken record saying that, we told you a long time ago to buy new Avengers 7s when you could, and not if you didn't buy them back
I'll
then?
play devil's advocate.
Okay. Go for it, Tony. And then anyone, it's open to anyone that wants to take Heir to the Empire.
Phil.
I'm leaning towards you, Phil.
Phil.
All right, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean the knock. I don't know, man. Obviously, the Illuminati is super important right now. We got the first glimpse on screen. We know there's more multiverse stories coming, and the Illuminati should be important to those storylines. We don't even know who else is on it at this point. There's going to be a lot of speculation. This book could, honestly, depending on who shows up and how they present it in the Multiverse of Madness, I could see 9.8 hitting 1,000 for that book after release if people are that excited about it. So short-term flip, that might be a great book to get in. And then, it would make sense even after we get this we're getting kind of a glut of multiverse movies right now. They'll move away from it. They'll get back to like street level stuff and more intimate stories or more solo stories. But they're always going to keep the multiverse in their back pocket if they need to recast somebody, if they want to introduce a storyline that doesn't match up with current continuity. Just like the comics, they're going to bringing people back to life. Comics have that do-over, and the multiverse is the way to do it. So even if this incarnation of the Illuminati changes and maybe it's different members down the road, this is still probably the Illuminati book that people will chase. So it could have some long-term stay, and I think it's got a lot of short-term room to grow if this movie hits the right way. But I love the bottom book.
Okay. I mean, Heir to the Empire, so many people have been asking me, like, on my Whatnot streams, like, you got Heir of the Empire, you got Heir of the Empire. So I dropped 2 in, like, 2.5 months worth of shows, doing, like, Star Wars shows twice a week on Whatnot. And I sold a raw 9.4, a clean 9.4 for $225, So this 500 and 9.6 is a good deal. Clone War 1s are going for like 2,500 up, something like that. And 9.8, so the Heir to the Empire 1 is like, what is it, like 1,000, $1,200? So I mean, I think there's a really good upside deal here. Obviously Thrawn survived the Rebels finale, and Dave Filoni's, all he has said about Thrawn is that he survived. He hasn't decided quite yet since the finale of Rebels what he's going to do with those 2 characters. It's not completely set in stone for him. Last time he talked about it, so this was like back in 2018. And then I just really think the upside's great for this book. And I don't know, not to go too Star Wars nerdy or whatever, but
Do it.
Bendu, if anyone knows about this mystical character who's like, like he does both combination of light and dark side, right? Like he doesn't take either side. He predicted that Thrawn would die in cold embrace. So I don't know. I mean, it just seems like Filoni is setting something up. He's gonna defeat in cold embrace. He foresees his defeat. And I don't think that was in the end of Rebels. So I don't know. There's just going to be so much buildup going into Heir to the Empire 1. And then you have the first appearance of Mara Jade. I mean, can you believe that character drop? Like, book's going to get even better and better. And I don't know, Red Hood, is CGC getting harder on grading this book? Because I'm sure you're still pressing a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, I have a copy that I cracked open from a Dark Horse 3-pack, and I took a chance, and I got a newsstand, and it was fucking perfect, dude. And it came back a 9.6, and I almost like uh, I passed out. Like, are you fucking serious? But they are they are really tough on this book, man. Very tough. Like, if you have a 9.8, I mean, like, you're pretty much commanding your own price. But a 9.6 at $4.99, like newsstand or not, like, that's a fucking steal, dude. Like, I mean, like, Thrawn, they need an antagonist, right? Like,
I don't think Thrawn's going to be an antagonist. I think he's going to be more along the lines of a you can't really tell. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, what do you think, Phil? Do you think he's going to be straight up bad guy, or he's just going to be in the middle where you just really don't know
Well, if you didn't
if he
watch,
decides to go that way?
well, it's quite interesting. I wonder what Solo Wookiee will say in the comments. But you know, so if you didn't know, with Rebels, Darth Maul and Ezra had a close relationship, and Ezra's going to have this opportunity to have this relationship, whatever it may be, with Thrawn, and we'll see what happens with that and how it plays out in Ahsoka. If you've read the Heir to the Empire novels, there
It's not
is
going to
a
be
greater,
anything like that. That's
yeah,
yeah, and
right.
that saying with if you read the Heir to the Empire novels, it's going to be nothing like that.
Probably not. But I think they're talking to Timothy Zahn, of course, I'm sure, and how he would like it to maybe, play out and get some insight from him. But there's a greater thing for Thrawn for him, because Filoni's been asked about, like, when he first introduced Thrawn into the Rebels, like they wanted to do him right, just to pluck him out of Legends and make him canon. So, I mean, I think there's going to be elements, absolutely. McClay is correct. It's not going to be completely exactly like the novels, but...
Plus, if you read those comics, they were trying to turn him into almost a hero. The second set of comics that came out,
After,
and Marvel.
Yeah, they have that origin story about him.
Yeah, they did a really good job to kind of make you care about him, and that's always the best writing. And I know it's a trope of writing, but it is one of the main tropes of writing that good writing has. This trope is the hero's journey, right? It's and that's exactly what a good character will happen with a good character. And if they did it with they do it with Punisher, they do it with Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones. They do it with these characters that it takes you out of a good hero's journey, and a good actor in that role will take you out of watching a movie or watching an actor, and just you'll feel like you're part of it. You'll forget where you are. You'll forget you're in a movie theater. You'll forget you're reading a comic, and you're in the story. So I think that's the most important part of any story, is to have that type of moment. And it's easy to do with that hero's journey stuff.
Yeah, I think they could keep him a villain and still do that.
Yeah.
Like, you hear the great actors say that if they're playing a villain, they're not a villain in their minds. You see where they're coming from. Like go back to
Doom,
Breaking Bad. By the end of Breaking Bad, Walter White was a true villain, but you saw where he came from. You understand. Doesn't mean you condone what he does, but you have a glimpse at that. They did that with Killmonger. I mean, you understood him as a character, even Thanos, really.
Yeah.
Like, you see the humanity in him. It's not just some straight up, I'm a bad guy, and you don't know why.
I want to take the second real quick to thank Luis Rodriguez for this 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much.
No, Tony, you remember when this, like, and I know this isn't the novelization, and I don't want to, but the Heir to the Empire, like, when the novelization came out, like, Star Wars was fucking dead, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so when that title, I remember getting it at Walden Books. I was like, what's going on here, man? This ignited the, like, the expanded universe. like, and of course, Dark Horse took on the comics or whatever, but like, if Timothy, maybe they get a different writer or maybe somebody else delves into this, but like, this is what started this whole expansion of Star Wars, because it was over after Return of the Jedi, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's see what the audience thinks. And it looks like 83% have chose Heir to the Empire.
So 17% picked New Avengers 7.
They
What's up, guys? Come on,
they might
man.
still see the it could still have, I guess, another bump or another growth potential over time. So
I did my job.
yeah.
17.
Tony convinced 17% of the audience that voted.
There you go. There you go.
Or maybe they just don't like Star Wars. I don't know. One of the two, right?
See, that's the thing. There's haters out there too, man. They don't feel the force, man.
All right. But how about Captain America #6, the variant? That sold for $4.95 at a CGC 9.8 versus a X-Men 133 CGC 9.6 that sold for $4.99 as well. Or four. Okay, I screwed that up. We'll just say 500 each.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I
Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go with Joe and Josh.
Shout out to Ferdbird for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He says, I'd give more, but I'm broke from the Comic Book Women show. By the way, you guys, the Comic Book Women
baby
killed their episode the other night. Something like $600 in super chat. So congrats to Laura, Lucy, Jen, and Co over there. Trish Forstner was on. It was a lot of fun to watch. So make sure you guys go check
is making me feel bad, man. I hit him up. I go, throw him 20, Ferd. Throw him 20. Throw him 20.
Ferd is good shit.
Oh yeah. Good people. You want to go, Josh? You go first, man.
No, you can go. I mean, I just pointed down. I honestly have no idea why.
I can take Josh's
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
Oh man, then you go first, Brian, because I don't.
All right. So, listen, the Captain America #6 variant, great book. Fucking love that book. Love both #6s. Just great storyline. The Winter Soldier storyline when it was happening was one of the things that we all talked about as one of the storylines where everybody's like, did you read Captain America 6 or have you reading Captain America Winter Soldier? Brubaker really had a stepping out party for Captain America. Great stuff. The Epting covers amazing. They basically, if you guys look at them together, they look great together. Good stuff, right? But there is, and some people might not know this, just because it's, you don't get told unless you read it or you're told about it. A lot of people don't necessarily read these old Claremont or John Byrne X-Men stuff, right? And X-Men 133 is the pivotal Wolverine storyline. It is that storyline when he's in the sewers. And now tell me if I'm wrong, because this is what I remember. This is a storyline where he's in the sewers.
I got you back, Brian.
Yeah, he's fighting these guys. And this is where Wolverine goes, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Like, this is it. We're fucking going. Brutal, evil, Wolverine, finishing move stuff on you. This is where Wolverine becomes Wolverine, right? Probably, turned people who are Wolverine fans to this day that were reading this book. This is the book. This is the reason why, because of this book. You know what I mean? This is the moment. Yep. So, and X-Men books are getting ready to go nuclear. As long as everything continues with the world and comics are still being enjoyed and loved. If what's his name shows up in Multiverse of Madness and it's a decent showing in that movie and the X-Men are talked about, these X-Men books are gonna go crazy. So yeah, I'm on a 9.6 X-Men 133 all day.
That to me, that's more of just a personal collection book.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what grade it is as far as the X-Men goes. It just doesn't matter what grade it is, just as long as it's
You own one.
decent. Yeah, I just want one.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jason Klein, for the $9.99 super chat. He says, got to show the love and appreciation for all the great content on the channel. One of, if not the best channel, giving proper information and not boosting your own agendas like other channels and apps.
Apps.
Oh yeah, Jason.
Yeah, and thank you, Luis Rodriguez, for the $2 super sticker.
Oh yeah, Luis, appreciate you, man.
I'd say Aaron put a hella choices up tonight. You know,
Yeah.
and
I got to start
and-
picking books last minute then again.
yeah, because like I use the word game changer. Both these books are game changers, right? It you know, the X-Men 33 propelled Wolverine into what we know of him today. You know, before he was just, you know, uh just a little short little guy, you know, with some claws. But like, you know, much the same way you know, Frank Miller did for The Dark Knight when Brubaker touched Captain America. Like that added a realism to the title that, you know, Cap was thought of as a, oh god, you know, like just here's a guy with the shield and tights, and you know, like this.
He was like the Superman of Marvel at the
Yeah.
time. Like nobody really read his solo series anymore. You know?
You know, the MCU, let's keep it real. Like it got started with the Winter Soldier. When that movie hit, like then you knew things were different. You know, because you know all the movies were good, with the exception of like Thor: The Dark World at the time, right? But when Winter Soldier came out, like, and it followed the comic pretty closely, like it it changed the game. Like it was must see movie. You know that after Winter Soldier, it was like holy shit. What it had a touch of espionage in it, and kind of uh like it made you feel like Cold War. You know, the Cold War, even though there was none, but like just the spy thriller type of feel to it. I would say, you know, both books are pretty important. I would love to have another 9.8 in the variant. I'm a huge fan of the run of Brubaker, and of course, like I have an 8.0 of this Uncanny X-Men. So yeah, like Mercenot said, like this is a book. If you collect comics and you love the X-Men, you have to have it. It doesn't matter what grade it's in. I mean, this is all pure like choice.
I like the point you made about how when you were reading Captain America this time, like you felt like you were in the Cold War. Like the writing and the art was so good. Both these books right here have creators that like just worked so well together. That's the type of thing when you remember it and you say, dude, you felt like you were back in the Cold War, even though there was nothing going on. You felt like you were there. It was so, the writing and art was so good.
Well, one thing I do remember is that, you know, this part of the Claremont run, you know, 129 like 142, or even a few issues afterwards, right? Like when the market just started going ballistic, like 9.8s were like, you know, shooting up to like over $1,000, $1,200, you know, depending on the book too, right? And I kind of remember this book like being one of those that easily shot up to like $1,200, right, for a 9.8. And so at a 9.6, I see that giant growth potential, right? That when we get closer to an X-Men in the MCU, that we can continue to see like growth in this book.
Yeah. Brian, I gotta back you up though. I agree with everything you said 100%, and maybe it has to do with my age, but like the Dark Phoenix graphic novel, that run of books that you're talking about was the most impactful book of my childhood. Like reading that and getting into the story, and this part of it, even just a couple panels from this, from this comic, just are ingrained in my memory. And just to, I would argue, aside from his first appearance books in Incredible Hulk and Giant Size, this is probably the third most important book of his to have. And I love Winter Soldier, but I would kind of compare that to the Echo book in the same way we talked about before. He's one of those lower level characters who's graduated. He's farther along than Echo is, and maybe he'll keep going up. That could go up as well. But yeah, I'm X-Men 133 all day on this one.
I will say that Captain America 6, that variant is really hard to find. The last time I saw that book was when it came out, like 15 years ago. That was the last time.
Yeah.
Like in the wild. Yeah.
Right.
46,000 orders by retailers for that issue.
How many?
46,000 Comicron fan. Over 100,000 plus, I don't know, 200,000 of the X-Men 133, but that's a different scenarios in 1980. I mean, I don't think it would be the third. I think it's an important Wolverine book to have. I just think third is a little aggressive. I probably would take X-Men 94 over this one, and possibly the Wolverine Frank Miller #1, the first solo title. But like you said, Tony, this is a very important book to have if you're a Wolverine fan and if you are digging your claws into Wolverine investments, because this will pop when Wolverine gets to the MCU. But like what Mercenaut said, he makes a good point. This seemed more of a PC buy, be hard to flip kind of deal. Like this is something that you just want to have in your collection compared to the Captain America 6 Epting variant. That is definitely the dip. I believe that book was like around 700 when Falcon Winter Soldier was on a 9.8. I know 9.6. I sold a 9.6 for 450. So
see,
yeah.
there's the thing about it too is like you have to tell people, hey, like, are you picking up like X-Men 133? And they're all, why? You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to tell people why. Like, and that's the problem with comic collecting. There's like a lot of like straight up fucking obvious keys that people just like aren't attuned for it. Like you got people like just buying like variants, and good for them, but like if you're a serious comic collector and you want to have important books, like these are two important books right here. But like if you're going to have an important Wolverine book aside from like his first appearance, which is 180, and his second appearance 181, like if you're going to have an important Wolverine book, this like what Brian said, this is what spawned what we see today.
Right.
That character.
I totally agree with you, Joe. But on my point is from an investment point of view, like if we were flipping.
Oh yeah, I'm on your side, bro. I picked the first one.
Yeah, and just a little off subject since we are talking about Wolverine. Wolverine 1, 1988, the first appearance of Patch, and their first ongoing. He's probably going to get a bump here soon because Marvel is releasing a Wolverine Patch series here in the next couple months. So keep an eye out for that 1988 #1 issue.
Nice. I love that back cover as well.
And I think you guys are right that you guys are right that this is a PC type book. I don't know if people look at this as like an investment book, but I think that's good for the investment value. I mean, there's a lot of these that will never see the light of day. Like you said, people want to have one and stuff it away, and they're not looking to flip it. So the value of the ones that are on the market is going to arc up a little faster than your average, bronze key.
For me, digging, I've seen 133 way more times than I've ever seen that Epting cover. I think I've seen that Epting cover one time digging.
It's a phenomenal cover, the Epting cover. I love Steve Epting. So
But I like the cover of 133 too because Wolverine's
Yeah, I mean,
tearing shit
like
up.
two different it's kind of
You
like
know?
two different timelines, man. And it's just if you're feeling bronze one day, maybe you pick that up. If like you're feeling the MCU, I mean, you're picking this one up on top.
All right, let's see what the audience thinks. All right, 78% chose the X-Men 133, and 21% chose the Captain America 6. But that was probably my fault for ending the poll too soon. So, anyways,
bullshit.
I know, right? All right, but I'll leave it going longer for the next one. How about Spawn number 174, CGC 9.6? First appearance of Gunslinger, sold for $5.99 versus Amazing Spider-Man 361, first appearance of Carnage, that sold for $5.99.
Oh my god!
Wow.
All right, hold up your signs.
Fuck, man.
In 3, 2, 1.
Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, let's go with
Joe's the only down, right?
Yeah, let's go with Joe and Phil.
All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants Spawn 174 and what is it? The 175 or 173?
175.
So it's 175. Yeah. Also, it's an automatic error cover, right? So, right, Aaron?
Yeah, with the 174. If you look on the bottom left corner, Spawn is misspelled. It's spelled like SPANW.
Span or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird like that.
Yeah, Gunslinger is just so hot right now, and you just go with the trending thing. And hey, who knows? Maybe the 9.8 hits like $2,000, so then this follows, and you could get like a $900 to $1,000 sale in the near future for the first appearance of Gunslinger. So I just go with something that's still ascending up. It's still slowly going up, creeping up, versus a book that, Carnage is not dead in the comics, right? But as far as on screen, you don't know if he's going to come back or not. So, all right, Joe, let me know.
Like if that Carnage movie was worth the shit, like if it was a great movie, where would this book be? Right? Because that's what we're talking about. Movies are driving the comics, and you remember it used to be the other way around. Now it's all dependent on how well the movie does. I don't know, like there was enough reference material for Carnage to get this fucking right, and you had one of the looniest guys to play Carnage. Like, I mean, like, how do you get that wrong? Like, it's like ridiculous. But like for me, like ASM's Spider-Man's, like if I'm buying for myself, right, and I'm picking from my heart, I go with that 9.8 Carnage. That was $1,000 book 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That was $1,000 book at $5.99, a 9.8 on something like that all day long, versus a 9.6 Spawn. Now I understand, like, Gunslinger is pretty popular, but like 9.8, that's still liquid, man. It's still liquid. Like I don't see that book dropping down to like $300. I mean, I think that's a good value at $5.99. So, I mean, that's just my take. I mean, but still, first appearance of Carnage in an Amazing when Amazing Spider-Man used to spawn new characters left and right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the good old days.
I'm sad that I didn't pick the bottom one. I love the character. I love the book. I love the cover. I'm sad that I just, it's one of those characters you just got wasted on screen.
Totally agree. I feel the same way.
How many years is it going to be before they can relaunch it. I mean, I don't. It's a serial killer. It's a serial killer. You gotta. You can't do a PG serial. It's I don't know.
Well, he's not that bad of a guy, you know.
I thought Woody Harrelson was horrible.
Yeah, and you know, like,
and I like him. I mean, I
like
thought
if you're
I love a
casting,
lot of
that's
his
the guy
movies.
you cast. 9 times out of 10, that's the guy you cast.
I don't. Maybe
But,
Woody
you know-
Harrelson from like the mid '90s, but
Yeah,
I mean, they could have done, you know, Cillian Murphy. They could have done some nutso
Christian Bale. They could have done
young-
Christian Bale. American
I don't
Psycho,
know.
Bale would have been a good Carnage.
right? He's going to be a great Gore. That's for
Yeah.
fucking sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a multiverse, right? So maybe we get another
Yeah, there you go.
Carnage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Thank God for
Yeah.
the multiverse.
Pray to the Illuminati.
All right, let's see what the audience thinks. And it looks like 60% chose the Spawn 174, and 40% are choosing Amazing Spider-Man 361. All right, I got 2 or 3 more comparisons for y'all. I thought this one was pretty interesting.
Oh, fuck.
Wolverine number 2, CGC 9.8, sold for $615. Direct edition, and then a Wolverine number 3, CGC 9.8, sold for $610. Also a direct.
That's not fair.
That's
You
a
know,
straight
that's-
toss up.
that's where you
100%
go-
I know,
toss.
right?
That's where you go. I'll be right back. I got to go rob a bank. Yeah.
You're not buying both, Joe?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to go rob a bank.
I'm
Get a
getting out of line. I'm
Number
getting
3
out
is
of
a
line.
discount.
All right. Oh, is it 4%? Yeah, because it was the list price was $635, and it
Yeah,
sold
God,
for 4%.
God bless them. God bless
Yeah.
them.
Hey,
Took a
but there's
lot to
free
drop
shipping on both,
$25.
right? Free shipping on both.
Yeah, it took a lot for them. Should I drop this 25? You think we'll sell it? Yeah.
All right.
I
Hold
bet
up your
it's the same
sign.
buyer.
Yeah, it probably is.
It could be. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's go with who haven't we heard from in a while? Let's go with it looks like Dollar really wants to go up, and let's go with Brian.
I think this is actually a pretty cool comparison. I'm glad you did this. I could totally see somebody doing that Frank Miller mini series in all 9/8.
Oh,
That'd
yeah.
be sick. Issue 2, though, for me, I like the cover more with the, you know, just kind of takes me back to the Wolverine Japan movie where he's like on top of the train and he's like flying with the claws. And he's fighting the Yakuza. But you also have in the Guts a first full appearance. I think is it Yukio? Yeah, it's Yukio, the ally of Wolverine. You know, big time fighter. Also helped him fight the Yakuza. But yeah, issue 3. I don't think there's anything first in the Guts. It is a cool kind of cover with the all black. It is tough. You tell you 9/8 in that book. There's probably not many on the census. I haven't checked, but I'm guessing just based on that cover and my experience. I just don't like him just like all pouty, like sad. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Too emo for you?
Too emo. Yeah.
Nobody wants to play with me. They don't like my haircut.
I think that number 2 is a better cover, the like dynamic wise, obviously. But man, that all black cover on that 1982 book that was a beloved series that everybody read.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is more easy. It's always easier to pick an all black cover, so I think this is the easier one of the 2, you know, picks. And I think I understand Richie taking number 2 because of the Yukio part. She's a huge part in Wolverine's lore, you know. But I just think that all black cover, man, is super tough. But to be honest, like this is 100%. This is like 50-50 toss up to me. So
Yeah. I mean, I definitely consider both of these covers iconic. You know, like all 4 issues of the series are iconic, right? I mean, I've heard some people doing some goofy shit with it though, like where someone had Frank Miller sign his name on all 4 issues across the whole thing. It was like, I don't know. That was the dumbest thing I've seen.
Yeah, that's one way to keep them together.
But this is my set, right?
Can I take my 600 and go back and buy another 9.6 of that 133?
Oh.
I'd rather buy the Captain America 617.
I'd rather jump into the time machine and pick up the set of 9.6s I saw for like $300 back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. Anyone feel free to add anything to either or? I mean, I think we're all kind of in agreement that it's kind of a toss. All right, let's see.
This was a great time. This is when I started collecting, man. You know, like G.I. Joe came out at the same time, and Firestorm #1 came out this time. Man, shit, I remember bagging and boarding these books, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Would y'all also say this kind of launched Frank Miller and Chris Claremont's career?
Well, it didn't
Not
Frank
Claremont's,
Miller
Frank...
Daredevil, right? Or
this was one of the books that helped launch Frank Miller's career for sure. I mean, he was a super hot writer, and you know this series put him in the forefront, right? But he was hot. I mean, that Daredevil 158 back then was worth more than it is now. It's crazy. Like that book, if there was certain books back then that like four or 5 books that if you didn't have, you weren't a real comic collector, and Daredevil 158 was one of them. You know,
I feel like the Dark Knight series was like his.
Yeah, but that didn't come out till 86.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. But I feel like that was...
And he had already done Batman Year One by that time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he did his whole Daredevil run, his amazing Daredevil run.
That was his
magnum opus, I think.
Yeah. 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 Well put. Yeah. Magnum opus.
I think this series too, like this is really the first. This is the launch of the solo series, right? Because like before this, I mean, there were a couple, like Hercules had a solo book back in the 70s, but you didn't see Avengers, or if they didn't already have their own solo books that have been around forever, you didn't see X-Men, them taking one character from a team and featuring them like this. Now we get it every month. But back then, if this was an important thing, like, oh my God, they're actually giving Wolverine his own book. It was mind-blowing.
See, like, here's another like game changer type of book, right? This spawned solo titles to what we see today, right? Much like Secret Wars, it spawned big summertime events for, especially right before Free Comic Book Day, like these are like iconic, but also like game changer. Like this is what started it, type of thing. These are big books that Aaron's put up today, man.
All right, let's see what the audience thinks. And it looks like 68% chose Wolverine #2. I'm guessing because of that first appearance, like just gave it that little bit of a bump. But let's go ahead and move on to our next set. How about Star Wars High Republic #1? The comic book exclusive variant, CGC 9.8 Virgin, sold for $750 versus 0.1, the 1 in 100 sketch variant, CGC 9.6. Oh, Marvel 0.1, sold for $749.
Dude, that sketch went cheap, dude.
All right. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's go with Phil and Josh.
Yeah, Josh, go ahead first.
All right, so I picked Sam Alexander just because, I mean, the dude's got to be making his way at some point into the MCU. I mean, I know we've gotten very little Nova Corp stuff, and I mean, that's a tough book. I don't think I've ever seen that in the wild
It's a fucking
ever.
ghost.
Yeah,
man.
like so. I mean, it's the same thing. As soon as he gets into the MCU, that book is gonna just full force ahead. I mean, the regular cover is already going for, I think, like $350, $400, and we have no idea when he's ever going to make it, but he's going to, since they're doing this whole roster with all the younger heroes.
Cool. Oh, you're good, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that .1 book. I mean, it's really, really tough to find, and obviously, I think Champions is obviously going to come. It's a big book that we've always been recommending. Champions 1 on Tales from the Flipside. But yeah, this High Republic. I mean, I had my doubts, but it's going up. Like, a lot of the keys are really trending right now. Here's a little small thing that Star Wars is not allowing homages anymore. So
Really?
yeah, that War of the Bounty Hunters.
Whoa.
Yeah, was like, I think the last one, which was like a Knights of the Old Republic 42 homage. So they're not letting it happen anymore. This book goes up and down a lot. But 750 is a solid get. It could do better. We'll see what happens with what Dark Horse does with Star Wars. Apparently that Star Wars Adventures 13 is like the last issue that IDW is going to do, from what I'm hearing. So I think all the characters meet in that issue. From what I heard, I haven't read it. So maybe those characters from High Republic Adventures go over to Marvel. And we'll see. High Republic issue 13, that 125 was selling for like $125, $150. I mean, it's just real hot right now. I have the Storm 2 125 variant jumped to it's been selling between like 60, 75, $100. It's just a hot property. We'll see what happens. They're supposed to do some project that's going to occur in the High Republic era. So that if something like that, gets more news or some more leaks, it's just going to propel all Star Wars comics up. And then Obi-Wan's coming. I mean, we'll see. I do have to jet everybody. I'm not sure if anyone wants to ask me anything else about this pick, but I got a Whatnot sale in like 5 minutes. So
oh yeah, thank you so much, Phil, for jumping on.
Awesome, man. Good to see you, bud.
Good luck on yourself.
Later, Phil.
Yeah, we have
luck, guys.
comparison, so make sure to catch Phil's show, Vintage Comics and Toys, on Whatnot.
Deuces. All right, have a good one, everyone.
Later, bro.
Thank you.
See ya.
Take care.
I like Sam Alexander. I'm all over that Sam Alexander .11 100.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sound out of pocket or anything, but we're gonna probably talk a little bit more about later in the show about some feelings on exclusive comics and retailer exclusives and that type of stuff coming up. But I'm not too keen on retailer exclusives anymore. I'm not too keen on. I haven't been keen on retailer exclusives homage covers in a long time. I think that 90% of homage covers are garbage, and I think it's very just some things that kind of what's going on. It's kind of, you're starting to kind of smell something foul coming from exclusive land. And I'm not saying that anybody is doing anything out of wrong, but there's just some questionable things that are happening in the exclusive land. You hear about things. I think ever since the word came up that if you got into an exclusive with Marvel, that meant you got 3,000 copies of the A cover, you got all the 1 in 25s that come with it, the 1 in 100s that come with it, the 1 in 150s. When we found that out, it kind of brought the the hype level to retailer exclusives to about 50% for me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't until I saw something come out that I was like really liked. You know what I mean? Like a really cool cover, that made you double take, to where I'm gonna say I'll choose a retailer exclusive over a 1 in 100 sketch of a book like Point One, number one. So
Right.
I think that, and I'm really looking forward to, more conversations about this type of stuff. I think we need to have more conversations about this type of stuff, but I am staying away from any of that, especially Star Wars homage covers. They're so bad. They're so bad, man. And I don't know what it is, but I can't think of a Star Wars homage cover that's been good. I mean, not off the top of my head.
I've got one that's pretty good, Brian. So this is the first appearance of Grogu and Mando. This is Naughty and Nice.
I was about to put you on the big screen, but I wasn't sure. Now I'm going to.
Yeah, go ahead. So right there, you can see the early appearance of Grogu. Right, there's little Grogu right there on the small of her back.
Oh my god!
And then you can see that's Mando in the ground, helmet on. Oh, he's always wearing his helmet, especially at this particular time.
That's the way.
He's got to wear his helmet. But this is the way. If you're going to do an homage, it
What's
better
this an
look like
homage
this,
to, bro? That's the only problem.
Do porn parody.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's she's a princess.
All right. Let's get into our roundtable discussion.
All right. Last comparisons. How about X-Men 96, 9.6 versus the Wolverine Limited Series with issue 1 as a 9.8?
Oh shit!
Is that 9.8 restored? It looks purplish on the bottom.
It's probably just a red from the reflecting on the blue.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't look at the pictures closely. But I mean, white pages restored. Is that a thing? At 9.8. All right. Up, down, left, right, whatever. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, Tony, what's up? Why'd you pick 96?
A 9.6 of that book of that age. I'm all about that, man. That's absolutely. I mean, I could see any one of those bottom ones. I could probably jump on eBay and figure out how to get the money to pick one of those up. But a 9.6 of that X-Men 96, it's even at the 1 versus 5 ratio, and you got the 9.8, it does look like a restored down. Maybe not. I can't tell. But no, 9.6s and 9.8s of that era of Uncanny, all about it. There's never going to be more in the census than there are right now.
And I want to say there's a first appearance in 96 too, right? Isn't that Mora's first appearance?
I'm not even sure. I'd have to look. You might be right.
Yeah. I think that's the main reason why I put that up there. Because she had a big important factor into House and Powers. So if what's his name is still pulling the strings behind the scenes, Hickman, then I feel like it's going to continue on at some point in time. That like she's going to be even more important later. But it's hard to pass on that limited series set, right?
Especially with a 9.8 sitting in there.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't even know how much 9.8s are going for now. By themselves. But
right, they're over 1,000, right? The Wolverine #1. Yeah, I mean, it should be commanding close to $1,000.
Thank you, Liger.
Let me see. Anybody check the Bay? The Bay, as Josh would say. Wolverine number 198.
Ooh. Dr. Matarget. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Jason. It is the first appearance. So I was happy I remembered that.
Oh, it's also the first X-Men proper with Wolverine on the cover.
Yeah, there was a Wolverine that sold after that lot just by itself, a 9.8 for $950.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Someone has one listed for $3,900. I think they have COVID-19.
It better have 5 covers on top of that too, as well, right?
Well, one sold, a 9.8 sold February 12th for $1,900. Last month, somebody got a badass Valentine's gift. There you go, Henny. Right?
All right.
Why is everybody being quiet? I said, all right.
And then 62%
God.
chose the Wolverine set. So, yeah, I guess some minds changed and stuff like that for that X-Men 96. Right at the last second.
Like,
but, yeah.
It's crazy. That bottom one's the best value. Bottom one. Show me the Denmark.
We don't know what grades those raws are in, though. It doesn't say anything.
They look good to me.
You're just saying that because you're a presser, because you can fix them.
Yeah, they look good to me.
Didn't that 96 just pop like maybe a year or two ago? Like it was like $100, $80 book for a long time.
Yeah, it was cheap, dude.
Yeah, I think over the last year and a half or so, it's
now it's like a $250 book raw, right?
Like people are like, I mean that's the low hanging fruit. Find the X-Men books that haven't popped off yet and start scooping them up, man.
Well,
you know.
even
And
the ones
Tony's
that
got a
have
great
popped.
point. Well, Tony's got a great point. Get X-Men books that are minor keys in high grades because that's where there's some low hanging fruit.
I think the whole from 100 to 200, there's some huge opportunities right now for high grade X-Men books when they join the MCU proper, and not just a movie, but when we've got multiple movies and multiple Disney Plus series. I mean, it's gonna be huge.
Oh, there was something I was gonna add. Oh well, doesn't matter. All right. So Brian, what did you want to discuss in our roundtable part?
So, earlier today, thanks to our heathen over here, Blue Green Artifacts, Tony, we had a very interesting conversation topic come up in the interwebs that I think is a good thing to bring up and talk about. And basically, I'll let Tony explain his thought process on this. But one of the things that I think is important for us content creators, influencers, retailers, stuff like that, if we want to be voices in this community, we kind of gotta be a voice. And sometimes if you see something going on that you don't like, or that you're want to know more about, that you think there's something foul is smelling, and you want to talk about it, you talk about it, which is what Tony did. And it kind of led to a couple good conversations with some people in the community. And so Tony, I want to go ahead and let you explain it, and if you don't mind, I hate to put you on the spot, but
no, it's all good. So the term pump and dump or dirty flipper, it gets thrown around a lot, and it probably to everyone on this panel has had some comment in social media, in YouTube videos or whatever. I understand that. I want to give a little context. So I don't know if we want to mention names. Maybe.
Of course, mention names. Yeah,
call them out.
Right.
Well, it's not only calling them out. even if they aren't, even if the there's a misunderstanding or something, we got to be honest about this stuff.
Yeah, and I want to give context too. There's a content creator, Bryce Comics. I have been watching his videos for a while. He started out kind of just dabbling in it, and he had a little funding behind him and the motivation to really launch into it as a career a little over a year ago, I think, and really started focusing on being a player in the comic speculation, the comic selling landscape, and a lot of people do that. He has had I got to mention the thing that kind of tweaked my opinion in the first place. He makes lists now and has for a while with Key Collector, with Nick at the Key Collector app, which is great. Nick has been looking for, he's used different content from different groups, including those of us talking right now. For a long time, we were putting together the Pro Spec 10 list, and he was putting that content on his app. So very familiar with it. There was a pick a while back that had a lot of us kind of scratching our chins. It was a Nebula #1, the most recent series, that Jen Bartel cover. And everybody makes spec picks. Sometimes you make them with a lot of ammunition and knowledge and the history, like Richie would do. Like he if he's making a spec pick, he's got really solid reasons behind it. Sometimes you just do it on a gut. Sometimes you pick a book because of the cover, whatever. Just you have a good feeling about this character or this story. But that specific issue, it was so new. There weren't any. I think there's a couple first appearances in it but they only appeared in that issue and never appeared again. He touted it as like this is a first solo series, and looking at other first solo series that have spiked. But as we know, the first solo series, if we're looking back into the 90s, if there's a high grade copy of a first solo series of a book that came out in 1991, those have been bouncing around in long boxes for decades. And it's not easy to find a good high grade, specifically newsstand copy of that book. So anyways, this book kind of had us scratching our heads a little bit. And then just very shortly after that list came out, Bry sells on his own website, and he had copies of that book graded, multiple copies, for a premium price. And the way it was listed, it was $220 discounted down to whatever, $150. And this was before he mentioned it, it was probably a $40 book, and after, because it's on Key Collector, it gets more eyeballs, as we all know. There are certain books that if they get mentioned on Key Collector that day, there are 20 copies that disappear from eBay. A lot of people have the same mindset. A lot of people put a lot of stock into what speculators, what their opinions are, and it is just opinions. But the fact that those books were already slabbed and ready to sell, like I know all of us sell, and when I was nominating book for the Pro Spec 10 list, I tried very hard to be cognizant of that. If there was a book, at one point I had 1,300 listings on eBay. But if there was a book that I was nominating, I would pull those off of eBay. I did not want anyone to accuse me or to make it even look like I was trying to talk up a book on a Key Collector app and try to funnel them to my eBay page where they're going to pick up my book at a premium price. And that's what I felt was happening with that book. And I posted about it. At the time, I actually got a response from Bry, and he was just extremely pissed off that I had mentioned it. He thought I was just trying to rip him down. He tried to give me. I was at work, but he tried to call me, and I just, in my opinion, if you make this is a very public app. It is the most popular app in this industry. So if you're making decisions on that app, or if you're making, if we make recommendations here on YouTube, we get public responses to those all the time. I don't think it's out of line to say what you think about something that's put out in the public like that. So anyways, that was the incident that kind of put it on the radar. And then as we all kind of saw this last week, his latest list, I believe it was top 5 undervalued ratios on the Key Collector app. But on that, you click on that little link on Key Collector, and on that list was included his own retailer incentive, his retailer exclusive variant.
So this is what you saw and everybody else saw. What, this morning when this came out? Was it this morning that this list came out? Yesterday. Okay.
Yesterday, yeah.
So for
I
a
think
little
the list may have
context,
come out the day before, but
okay. So for a little context, on the Key Collector app, when he does things like this, like Tony said, we had a little relationship with Key Collector going, where we were doing the same type of thing for a little bit of time, and he will put, a little header on there of, the little feature. Where Tony has circled here. And then when you click it, it basically takes you to a little rundown of that list. And as you can see in the rundown of that list, this is the retail variant that there was a problem with. And it does. And here's the thing. Don't let your ideology influence your intellectual honesty. And I know that's a lot to take in. Those are big words, but basically what it means is don't let your emotions, your hatred for something or someone get in the way of your honesty, your true honesty. Like, don't let it fool yourself. Don't let that emotion fool yourself. Right. And what I'm saying by that is, you can take a look at this and see it and go, okay, he's talking about a book of his own thing. Now,
but the problem with this is also that this segment, under this the section is like books to invest into,
and that's what I'm saying. Like here, the way it looks, you could be a Key Collector fan, you could be a Bryce Comics fan, but and what I'm saying by your honesty, if you're a Key Collector fan, a Bryce Comics fan, or you're looking at it from their perspective, and you see this, you would say to yourself, yeah, this smells a little funny. This looks a little funny. Let's find out what's going on here. Right. And if he is doing this, let's let him know that this isn't something that is good. This isn't something this is a little dishonest. This is a little.
The fact that he had the book slabbed is what I have a problem with.
Well, that's the original story. That's with Nebula, right?
Right. And then on top of this book isn't even released yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
that book right there is not even released yet.
No. This is the exclusive that he is
for
promoting.
For issue 21, which is stuff, it's going to be
you better buy my book. That's going to be a book to invest in, because I know.
And that's how it looks. Exactly. That's exactly how it looks. It looks like, hey, I got 3,000 of these, or I've got 500 of these. You want to buy them quick. And the reason why is because it's going to be a hot book. This would be like CBSI putting one of their exclusives on the hot 10 list.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
All right, that would not be intellectually honest, and there would have to be a really fucking good reason to have it there, right? And here's the thing. So some people looked at it like Tony is calling out Bryce Comics or calling out Key Collector. Some people looked at it like, hey, he's doing this to for good, right? So here's the thing. I see this Instagram post. I decide to reshare the post on my Instagram, and I say, pay attention to this, right? And I should have put more context in what I meant by that, but basically what I meant by that is this could be a big moment in our community. You know, how this plays out is important, and for a couple reasons. And so I put that text up there, and I get a message from Journo's Comics. I think a lot of us know who Journo is. He puts out good comic content. He's a you know, another one of us, you know. And he hits me up and he goes, "Hey, I think that," he goes, "I'm going live on YouTube in a couple minutes. I'm going to bring up this topic. I want to talk about it in a way that people can look at and say, hey, let's take a minute and find out what's really going on here. I don't want people with pitchforks coming out. I don't want people coming out and saying stuff in the comments that are, you know, defamatory, or because listen, anybody, I don't care who you are, if you're human, and you think somebody's coming at you, you're going to take offense to it no matter what. All right. So I tell Journo, I think that's a good idea. Do it. I'm 100% agree with you. Good idea. And then so he goes live, and while he's live, he says, hey, I'm going to drop a link if any, you know, influencer or content creator or app creator wants to jump in. Let's talk about it. And I thought that was really cool. And so I jumped in, and the reason why I jumped in is to say these 3 points. One, the most important thing I think what we can do when things like this pop up in our community is to talk about it, especially in a roundtable thing, right? And even more importantly, if we can get those people involved, like if Bry's Comics just said, hey, I'll jump on with you and talk about it, or if Nick from Key Collector said, hey, I'll jump on and talk about it, you know, say, this is where I was coming from, this is what happened, then not only do we hear from the horse's mouth, but we also see that they're human, right? A lot of the times when we don't see these people interact with other people in these type of settings, we think of them as kind of being like, you know, some people look at Nick at Key Collector as like the wizard behind the curtain, like he's this evil app creator and he's out to get everybody. And that's not fucking true. The dude's just trying to make a living on comics, which we all are. 90% of us in this world are trying to do that, right? It's a great dream. And people don't realize the guy is human. The guy is the only guy working over there. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a team of people that are, you know, typing the shit in and this and that, you know? So I wanted to go on there with Chris and say the roundtable conversation is important. And the second is that people don't understand that when you're reading something or you're reading a post, you put inflection in what you think these people were trying to say, or the emotion they're trying to convey. And the majority of the time, you're probably not right, you know? So it's better to have somebody come on and talk about it like this, and we can hear the inflection in their voice, and we can see, you know, that they aren't trying to be dickheads, or they're trying to be cool about it. And hey, we're all just trying to do our thing, and this totally came off wrong. I didn't mean to do this. We can tell that the person's most of the time being genuine. You know, we can see. That's why this is so important. StreamYard, these meeting platforms that we can go live are so fucking important for that matter, right?
Right.
So one of the things yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I want to say quick, just it's not about trying to villainize or like hand out pitchforks necessarily, but there is you know, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, to use a phrase that nobody ever uses in comics, it's true. Like you have to be held responsible, even if it's something that's done on purpose, or if it's something that's done as a mistake. And I just want to say, once this started getting some traction yesterday, the Instagram post, Nick from Key Collector did respond fairly quickly to myself and some of the other commenters
with a good response, in my opinion.
Yep. And his response was that it was him and not Bry who included that retailer exclusive in the list. And
well, then shame on him.
And they understood our, you know, or he was trying to explain why he did it, that he would, you know, he's trying to help promote the people who are helping him.
No, that's not what you do with this app.
But that he understood our concern and how it could be, you know, misleading, and he did remove it fairly quickly. So there was a response, and maybe what he's saying is correct, that it was his decision. I would be floored if Bri didn't see the list on the app as soon as it came up, and if I saw my own exclusive on the bottom of my top 5 list, I would mention it myself to Nick. Hey, can we promote that in a different spot? That's
So
you know.
so Tony, like look at what he said. He goes, "We were promoting." So when did that become a fucking thing?
What do
Right?
you mean? What do you mean by that,
Okay,
Joe?
so Nick said, go back to what he put on Instagram.
That was
It,
that it was
it
not
was
the
me,
intention. Yeah, he basically said it was not the intention to make it look like it was part of the list.
right? And
And
then
he'll
what did he
remove it to
say?
avoid confusion. And
No,
and
but he talked about promotion.
where did he say promotion? What did he say here? He said, but did not add the exclusive to the list. Bri aids the weekly content on Key Collector by taking the time to put together different theme categories that some collectors may or may not be interested in. In exchange for his contribution, we help create awareness for his channel, or in this case, an exclusive. Okay, so
Bullshit.
he's promoting the exclusive for Bri doing this
So
content
yeah,
for him.
that.
And I
So
don't have a
how
problem with.
many other exclusives is he promoting?
Yeah, he's
Like,
got
when did this
categories. He can
become-
have a whole category of retailer exclusives. There's some great ones out there. And I'm not
Yes.
even crapping on this one in particular. I love Zoo Orzu. I love Zoo Orzu.
Then
But
let the book speak for itself. You ain't got to put it as, hey, like go invest in this.
Well, I think that's the thing. He's saying that this was a mistake on his part, and at this point, in all honesty, guys, we should take him at this for what he said is true. If we see it happen again, then we know it's not. I mean, if it happens again, we see more foul smelling stuff coming from there, like
J1 Future.
it is what it is. I mean, there are
Yep.
some bad actors, and again, it goes back to this. If we want to be a community, instead of screaming at each other, so I don't want to scream and talk shit about these people. We need to be able to come and have conversations and say, this is why I feel this way. And, if you feel different, cool. Not, hey, go fuck yourself, because you don't feel this way. And that's important. We're all human. We make mistakes. One of the things I said on Journo's little thing was one of the most important things that somebody can say to me is, I don't, if you ask them what they think about something, they go, I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. Or if they say, I was wrong, I felt this way and my mind got changed. You know what I mean? Like that there's nuance in everything. Nothing's black and white. So I think it's very important, again, if Nick would come on shows and talk about situations like this, like, show people that he's the only guy working this stuff, that he doesn't, another thing that we all get up on our high horses about is credit. I want credit, right? Nick should give me credit for coming up with this spec. You guys, that is so toxic. It is, first of all, you didn't probably come up with that spec. Somebody said it before you. Second of all, Nick's a super busy dude. How do you know he's watching your shit? You know what I mean?
Right. Totally.
And he's actually started to try to do that now and then.
Yes, he has. Which let's give him a little clap. Yeah, give him a little clap. And I love when people who are getting the credit say, hey, I love getting the credit. This is where I heard it from. You know what I mean? I think that needs to be more, instead of saying this person came up with that spec, we need to say, this is who I heard it from, right? This is who I heard it from. This is where I heard it. That's a much more genuine, in my opinion.
Yeah, like if you're reading an old comic and you discover something, and then you like roundtable it. Hey guys, I don't know if you know about this. This could be a thing, right?
Yep.
That's where you did the archaeology, and that's discovering something that maybe not everybody in the community knew or was aware of.
Yeah.
Right.
And also another thing, the majority of us sell books, you guys. You know, that's another thing that we've slowly over the past, say, 4 or 5 years, that comic speculation has become so big, or this community has, you know, which isn't really that big. I'll get into that in a second, but you know, this community has grown that. What was I just saying? I'm sorry, I'm stoned. What was I just saying? What was I just talking about?
No, that about
we all sell books.
speculation.
Oh
that-
yeah, we all
that
sell books. We
sell
all sell books, you guys. That's why we do this. That's probably why we got in this to begin this. We saw somebody going, "Hey, look at what this is worth." Oh shit, I got that. Oh, I saw that in the comic store. I need to go get that because I can flip it.
Yep.
Right? For whatever reason, to buy more grails, to buy more comics, to pay your bills, retirement. I don't care for your cannabis. I don't care I don't care what you do with it. If you're, that's your choice. But we all sell books, and this throwing around this pump and dump thing is, for somebody that's just selling books, is silly. You know, we have to understand what a pump and dump is. A pump and dump, you have to have intention. You have to be, and you know, this smells like pump and dump. This smells right here like pump and dump. Now, Nick coming out and going, this is why it looks this way. It was a mistake on my part. Okay, then it doesn't smell much like pump and dump anymore. You explained yourself. If we get more sniffs of pump and dump, and it keeps happening, then, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire for most of the time. Be better. You know, like Tony was saying, when we were doing this Prospect 10 thing with Key Collector, when Tony would put up a book for everybody to vote on, he would make sure that if he had one for sale, he took it off his fucking eBay. He didn't want to get into that realm. I don't care if you have one for sale, you know, be honest about it. Hey, I have one for sale. I don't have 50 for sale. I don't have 500. I don't have 3,000. You know what I mean? That's the pump and dump stuff. There is an intent there to sit on a ton of books, and make cause for that book to go up in value. And you having a variant that is under pre-order and looking like you're putting it on your top 5 books of the week spec list smells like pump and dump, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
And
And
that's kind of what we got to be honest about.
We know some retailers come on these shows, Hive Comics and Wanted Comics. They've got a lot of retailer exclusives
that we promote, that our channel promotes a lot of.
Absolutely. They come on, they show them, they talk about them. But I have never heard James or Jonathan or any of those guys even imply that this is going to be a valuable book. This is going to hit such and such. You know, talk it up, sell it all you can, get exposure, but don't start making promises, because that's, as we all know with retailer exclusives. I mean, I know we saw one a little earlier that sold for $750, but that is the exception, not the rule, by far.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just something I wanted to bring up. I would love to hear some of your other guys that are a little more quiet. If you have something to say, I'd love to hear about it. I mean, you know, it's something to talk about. You know, change my mind is what I say. You know, if I'm looking at this a wrong way, or if there's a way that I'm not looking at this, that I'm not seeing this, let's talk about it. Let's have some conversation about it in the community.
Well, I definitely remember when we were heavily involved with Key Collector, you know, because I guess that was about the time I was joining Flipside, and then, you know, we got that sponsorship and all that, whatever. But I definitely remember I would nominate books even if I didn't have them, just because I thought it was a good spec play at the time.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of like I felt like the information was more important for other people that have the capability to find it wherever they are in the area, because, you know, we all live in different parts of the country, right? And some areas are going to have more books than others, depending on the types, you know? So I just thought it's more important to share information than to hold back information before it's, especially because someone else could stumble upon the same conclusions that you're researching, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And transparency is key. It's
Yeah.
always key in these situations. Always. And let's not forget, you guys, the comics community, the comics community in general is so big, and the speculation part of it is so small when you look at it. There's so many more people that are just buying comics to read, just buying comics to continue to fill a run, just buying comics because they love a certain creator and they collect his books. None of those people could care less what the book is worth or what the condition is in or any of that stuff. They support a creator, an artist, a retailer, and that's why they buy their books. I don't care. Good. I buy them for any of those reasons, right? So we just and I don't want it to get to a place where I think we talk about it a lot, and there's kind of rumblings of speculation community. Speculation for a long time was a bad word because everybody's like, the community is toxic. It's toxic, and it's a lot about it. A lot about it is underhanded, feels underhanded, and feels it smells sour, right? And I think we've done a lot to change that. We've done a lot to show that no, we're just normal people this is what we enjoy doing. There's some people that enjoy fucking around with stocks on the Robinhood app. There's some people that enjoy buying Top Shot basketball NFTs and flipping them. There's people that enjoy betting, like whatever. I don't want our little part of the community to turn into a something that makes people fucking instantly push away. Like, oh, you don't want to be part of that. Like, stay away from that group.
Yeah.
So, again,
I think
more soapbox crap.
I think, like you said, the fact that speculation is so small, it is. I think that makes our market, or the market for these books, is very sensitive to just two sales can change the market for a specific book. One article can change the market for a specific book. So if there is some shenanigans, some fuckery afoot, if there's some fake sale, our radar goes up quick. If there's somebody pumping something for, you speculate their intent, your radar goes up quick. So I think we do have to hold each other accountable.
That speaking of that, that's like it's what Ben on the top 10. Like he'll talk about books, but he won't pump them up. Like he's like, I don't know why this book is at number 5, and I'll have like 5 copies of it. And I'm like, yeah, it's at number 5. He goes, but I wouldn't buy this book. I go, what are you doing, man? The fuck, man? Like, that's my book, bro. Bro, shut the fuck up, bro. But like, in all fairness, that's the way you've got to do these top 10 lists. Like, here's the stats, make your own conclusion, but based on history, this is what you should do. Like, if he thinks or Brian's on that show too, Brian smells something fishy, he's going to point it out, and that, we had Kaylin on earlier. It takes a lot to have high integrity in this game, but comic book karma is fucking real, man. Like, if you burn somebody, like, that shit'll come back twofold on you, man.
Let's talk about this real quick too. Lewis asked, "Can we talk about what not exclusives thoughts?" I think that's getting to a point where we probably should be asking questions at some point, right? Like, if it gets to a point where, because I mean, the main reason why 100%, look at the value of some of these books.
Yeah,
they are
it's nuts,
shooting up to values that seem just enough to where we got to ask, hey, what's going on? This is outlandish, right? Now, when they go, hey, okay, these foil, for instance, the Invincible books, these limited foils are limited to 150. All right, you say that those are limited to 150. I can start to understand why some of them sell for $1,000. Okay. But what are the rest of them are, right? What are the rest of the numbers? And should a book with 1,000 or more print run be selling for $200 plus? Other questions are, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate on all this stuff. You guys know me. I sometimes I get told I talk too much about whatnot. Not sometimes, all the time. But also I have to say, like, I see do some of these books only sell for a certain amount on whatnot and not other markets? What are they selling for on other markets? Stein had the Adam Eve variant, trade dress variant on the Hot 10 list the other week because he saw it on eBay consistently selling for $400 or $200 or whatever it was. Okay, what's it selling for on whatnot? Is it selling for the similar stuff? I want to question. If there's only 150 of these foils, who are buying these foils? Is it other sellers that keep buying these books? Does this book keep just changing hands from seller to seller? Stuff like that, because whatnot is a weird dynamic right now. It is a lot of buyers, or not a lot of sellers, not enough buyers, right? And that causes some weird things to happen, or some questions to be made. I get it all, and I think that we should ask those questions. I think that whatnot should come out and say, this is how many of this book there is. Now, if it's a true whatnot exclusive, if whatnot is putting their stamp on it saying this is a whatnot exclusive, you're better off to tell us how many copies of those book are.
Hey,
do your best to prove it.
When they have these whatnot exclusives, who's going to be the seller to sell them?
There's another great question. That's another great question. How does that work? Does whatnot work a deal with the individual seller and say, okay, you're the only one that can sell these books? Or does everybody, remember the first whatnot exclusive where they put their names on the back of people? They sent one of those supposedly to everybody that had their name on the back. Great fucking thing, man. Cool. Right. If they really did that.
I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah.
Perfect example right there. Like, did everybody get one of those? What did you get? Did you get a foil? Did you get a foil version? Did you get a trade version? Did you get all four? Those are the type of things.
Well, somebody probably sold my copy already.
I'll tell you what I got. The first one was with Invincible himself on it. They did the 3 versions. They put the names of the first 50 comic sellers on the back, which my name was one of those.
Great idea.
One of those 50. And they sent, as far as I'm aware, they sent all 50 of us the trade and the virgin, not the foil. I ended up buying a foil later, but they sent us one of each of the trade and the virgin. And who knows, maybe that was different for different of the 50. Maybe some people got foils. I don't know. All I know is what I got. But I believe starting with the second one, then they started, that was at the time when they were bringing in a lot more big names from other social media platforms. And I think then it became kind of almost like a payment system. Like, hey, I don't know.
That's
you entirely speculation. But have a Sunday show, promote,
and it's within their right. It's within their right to say we don't have to tell you anything. It totally is.
Yeah.
Is that going to help them? Probably not. Probably not. Transparency is always going to help in that situation, especially when you have people that have been part of the community for a long time that are involved in that. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? If we know we have Jack Bolo, a big part of that. He's a big part of that. He's been a big part of our community, right? So to have him, who's been on shows before, to have him come out and be the person to say, hey, this is what's going on with these, would look so much better than him not saying something, right? To him to put out a Instagram thing saying, this is the new whatnot exclusive. This is how these work. This is where they come from. This is what's going on with them. Man, it would, in my opinion, it would help so much to that.
Probably make them more expensive.
Right. Yeah. So I think that transparency is anything, because no matter what, you're going to have people that are going to look at it a weird way. They're going to say, oh, there's favoritism going on. There's, there's fuckery afoot, right? And like nip that shit in the bud. And if there is, let's fucking change that. Like, no more of that. We know you got caught doing it. Maybe it wasn't your intent, but it happened. Make sure that that doesn't happen again.
I don't want anybody fucking my feet.
I think I want to say the devil's advocate side of that, though, Brian, because
of course,
from Whatnot is trying to kill eBay, which a lot of people are like, more power to you. Absolutely, go for it. And they have a lot of funding. They've got I don't know if I believe it, but a $1 billion valuation, from the last round of funding. They've got a lot of cash, and they're not only trying to expand into different markets and evolve their app and its features as quickly as possible, but they are trying to promote and give motivation and promote their own sellers. And that's where a lot of that money came from. Basically, they're fronting the money to produce these exclusives, which are rather expensive. Usually only bigger, established retailers can afford to have their own exclusive variant. They are fronting that and working out the deal with the artist. And I mean, Tyler Kirkham just killed it. Those are great, great covers. And then basically distributing those among the people who are selling on their platform. And they've done that in other ways.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a single problem if say, for instance, let's even call it eBay. Let's not call it Whatnot. Let's say eBay starts doing the same thing, and eBay comes out and says, "Hey, this is the Good Boy variant right here. The Good Boy Peach Momoko variant. We're only doing this book with JJ's Comics and Art. It's a Whatnot exclusive, but only available from JJ's Comics and Art." Okay. If you say that, I'm totally cool with it. Here's how many copies are available. JJ's Comics and Art says, I've got so many copies of this, and I'm totally cool with that. Just let us know, right? If you're saying that this is a Whatnot exclusive variant, it's a thank you thing to give to all the people who are sellers above this certain threshold, fucking I'm totally cool with it. You know what I mean? That is very important. I don't want it to ever get to a point where people are like, for example, here's another great example. The Perillo Wanted Comics exclusive that Drew put out. Okay. Drew said, I want this book to be only available on Whatnot. It's not a Whatnot exclusive, but you can, for a certain period of time, you can only get it on Whatnot. And he only gave it to so many sellers to sell, right? He's honest with that. That's what he's come out and said. Now, eventually, he might put it on his store. But as of right now, he's saying you can only get it from Whatnot, for at least a couple weeks, and from certain sellers. He's being honest about it, right? I think that is important because he's using Whatnot as a, okay, he knows that there's a community over there that might be new to Wanted Comics. Let's open their eyes to Wanted Comics. Totally fine with that. Have no problem with that. What I would have a problem with is if Whatnot was saying this is a thank you variant and it's a Whatnot exclusive, but it's not going to all the Whatnot sellers. Right? This is a thank you variant to all the sellers that have been selling on Whatnot since this time. Send them each a set to send out, or send them each 10 sets to send out, or say to Whatnot, okay, if whoever wants to put in on this Whatnot exclusive, this is the cost to buy in. This is how many spots we have available. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Don't turn it into a thing where it looks like only people that play good. And I'm not saying this is happening, okay? But there's obvious, people talking about it. How come I see all the time? How come only certain sellers have Whatnot books, Whatnot exclusives? I see that all the time in the chat. You know what I mean? It feels weird that only certain sellers have certain. you're always going to get that. So come out and say, it's not. This is what we're doing. Or, hey, I'm a one-man team. I'm trying to get them out to as many people as possible. Transparency.
Yeah, I guess the thing I would have to add on to that is, they stopped giving out the Whatnot exclusives to the sellers because the list got so long and stuff like that. But then it's you see random people that just happen to get some copies of some exclusives, and you're like,
"Yep,
where did that come from?"
Oh yeah, I get it, man. Yeah.
Well, it's called favoritism.
Yes,
And
that's
if you're not their
exactly.
favorite, you won't get any tism.
Yeah, which instantly causes strife. It's instantly going to cause strife. So
Everybody hates me, so there ain't no way I'm gonna fucking free book from anybody, dude. But that's okay. I make my own exclusives. I got a Red Hood sticker. I put that bitch right on the book. That's a banger if y'all want it. That's what I do.
Hey, I already am selling your bootleg Invincible comics, so.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I make my own exclusives. It's a fucking 101. Boom.
Right.
What is I don't know what this means. JJ says, what does it have to do with transparency though? Because they sink into debt with investors, they get to be cagey. I don't know what that means. Dennis says he did 2K with mystery packs tonight. I'm not composing a bit about Whatnot. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, listen, we have to be honest. People are making money off of it. So, and Don Santos said something very important. Don't ever forget, Whatnot is a small fish in the eBay ocean. Small fish in the, buying ocean. They're not there yet. It's exciting because they're new and people are able to make money a different way. Yeah, it's strange right now, man. I mean, we're all over it for a period of time, and the important thing is that we see, okay, this is what we want. We want some changes, and they're making changes to their infrastructure, to how things are handled. I mean, another perfect example. I told you guys, and again, I don't want it to look like I'm dogging Whatnot because of this, but I told you guys I still have this fucking email thing that I'm dealing with where they tell me I've got 21 returns, and I'm like, where is this coming from? But you know what? I'm not mad at it yet, even though nobody's talked to me about it. Still in my head, I'm thinking they're a new growing company. It's probably glitched, probably something like that. You got to give the benefit of the doubt sometimes. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Their comics area is a small part of Whatnot. It's not a big part. It's not the biggest part of Whatnot.
I actually agree with what Dennis said pretty much, that there might, like you said, there might be little complaints that we have or little things that we wish were better, but the fact that we have a whole new marketplace that is this vibrant and this active and growing this quickly, that's what this our whole hobby needed very badly.
Yeah.
Not that eBay's dying, they want to kill eBay. Yeah, it might be decades before that happens, if ever. But it's awesome that we have a company that is willing to throw money around to help out the sellers, because we don't see that on any other marketplace. So it's fair for us to question how that's done, and ask for that transparency. And but I think it's I'm not complaining about Whatnot in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
JJ says he was his point was he was responding to Tony's advocate battling eBay point, that eBay has done exclusives. They just don't auction them for thousands, but neither does Whatnot. Whatnot in general isn't auctioning these. Like, it's not like Jack. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jack has. If Jack has gone on there and sold some of these exclusive for thousands, maybe you can consider that. But the majority of the people who are selling these, they aren't Whatnot employees. They're just like us. They're, they might be. I mean, perfect examples. Let's look at somebody like Skef. I mean, Skef Comics is a big seller over there. That was just one of us. Most of us have 9 to 5s. We come home, we enjoy selling comics. That was Skeff. Skeff said, hey man, I see an opening this. I've always wanted to, make money selling comics. This is what I'm going to do full time. And he hit it hard. Okay. He's not I don't believe Skeff's a Whatnot employee. So,
Not yet.
and
he's selling a lot of books.
Another perfect example. Clutch, Big Clutch, Comics Vault Live. He's not a Whatnot employee. Those Kirkham books he's selling because they're Skybound exclusives, right? So if anything, that's where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Is I don't know I don't think that there's anything weird going on between Skybound being the evil guy behind the thing. I don't think that. I think that probably what happened is there was some kind of deal worked out where they said, okay, we with Tyler and Skybound and Whatnot, and they said, hey, look, we have an idea for an exclusive. Let's try and make it something hot on Whatnot, so people start talking about Whatnot, and it's turned into a hit. It's turned into a monster. So asking questions is not a bad thing. We can't always immediately expect the worst, though.
I think Toom made a great point that he loves exclusives with the authenticity and the numbered card.
COA.
Like John Tyler Christopher has on the back of his, like, you got number 225 out of 100. I mean, out of 500, right? So that adds transparency, right? Because then that levels up the book. Hey, this is number 199 out of 500. Like, there was only 500, right? And I'm sure they print like 550, 580 because of damages and stuff like that. They're always going to print a little bit more,
right?
But
there's more because I just had a situation with those. Actually, it was a Stray Dogs exclusive I ordered, and they came with the numbered, COAs on the back, and they got real beat up in the mail. And I emailed them, and I'm like, sent them pictures, and they're like, all right, we'll send you more. Just don't throw away those cards on the back of the books. So, I got 2 more, but they didn't come with, the numbered cards or
comps
anything.
for damages.
Yeah.
Which is that's normal in comics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's at 501 and 502.
This is a good question. And
out of 500.
It's a great question to ask. But some sellers are Whatnot employees. Who is and who is not? Doesn't Skeleton Key sell on there as employees? I don't know. I don't know if Skeleton Key Comics is considered an employee or just Sammy is considered an employee. I think that's what it is. I think just Sammy's an employee, and then her and is it Tony? Is his name?
His name's Tony.
Sammy and Tony. They sell on there as Skeleton Key Comics, which I don't find fault in.
It's conceivable that they use some of these exclusives as part of their pay package.
Yes.
Whether it's paying for people, hey, you have a lot of followers on YouTube. We really want you to come over. Hey, we'll tell you what, we'll give you 50 of this, whatever. Or to their own employees, like, hey, whatever, this month we're going to send you 20 comps or whatever. Do with them what you wish, So that's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think there's any necessarily shenanigans going on, but it is remarkable, going way back to the very beginning, that there have been 9.8s of a couple of these foils that have sold for like $4,000.
No,
that is
$4,000.
That is remarkable for a brand new, within whatever. The first one came out maybe 4 or 5 months ago now.
But again, being honest about it, being intellectually honest about it, let's say that there are reasons for this book to be hot. Now, $4,000 hot, how many copies have sold for that? $2,000 hot? I can see that, right? Invincible's a huge thing right now. The animated series has given that thing super legs. Most people couldn't even sniff Invincible number 1 or 2 because not only could they sniff it because it's so expensive, but they probably couldn't find it, right?
Right.
Variants on older books. We saw the Ultimate Fallout 4 variants. I think we're seeing Edge of Spider-Verse 2 variants now. We've seen that thing. It's a new thing. So I don't find a fault for them jumping on that, reprinting number 2 and number 1 as newer variants. So I don't have a problem with that. They did the bloody action figures. So now they wanted to do a bloody variant for it. I'm cool with that. That makes sense to me. You know what I mean? All those things make sense. Robert Kirkman is a much beloved creator. Tyler Kirkham is a much beloved creator. Those things should be selling well. The hype, the selling, when Tyler goes on there and sells those books and he gets a ton for them, I am all for that. When he's selling the original art and gets a ton for him, I am all for that. I have no problem with that. That artist should be able to make money on the books that he helps create.
Oh, you know what I did on my whatnot? Like I'm feeling left out since everybody's got Invincible shit and I don't. So I went and grabbed my stack of free comic book day Invincibles, and I said, like, you got a Red Hood exclusive Invincible right here.
Yeah.
So I sold 4 of them for only $2.
Yeah, great point right here. So
max
JJ,
value.
If the exclusives are compensation, that's fine. Just come out and say that so that people know. Yes, transparency. We need it. So
I gave away my virgin copy in my last whatnot. Mr. Neo Comics won it for free. So
if I gotta do something to get free comics, so you go, stay tuned. Next on Whatnot.
Oh man, yeah. All right. I think that's a great conversation, and I think that those type of conversations are great to have. We need them. We need to have more of them. Let's continue to do that, and let's continue to be honest with each other. So. All right, you guys got anything else out?
Nah, man.
I think that's a good place to end the show at. But I want to thank the 111 people, or it was at 115 earlier, watching us. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any of the great content. I scheduled the show a little bit later, and we ended up going on early. So thank you everyone for jumping on.
Real quick, I want to hit this point. I love you, Dennis. I know that you've got it out for him, man. And I'm with you to say that some of the stuff is a little goofy and stuff. And we'll continue to have this conversation with other people. I think we've had the conversation about Dinesh. We've had those conversations. I like the stuff Dinesh does. I get it. I get where you guys are coming from, thinking that he's making a mockery of CGC by doing those things. And if that's the case, then you think that those Young Avengers 9.5 were a mockery. I don't know if I feel that way on that stuff. I think it's fun to do promotional stuff like that.
Hey, Dennis, will CBCS note this as first Grogu and Mando? Like, if they will, I'll leave CGC.
Hey, Aaron, can I get 20 seconds? I'm gonna pop this open quick.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Bam box.
We'll wrap it up with an unboxing.
Hey,
what? You got. What do you know?
No, this is an old box.
I think Aaron's got one too. If you don't know,
but I put some exclusives in there.
Yeah, hell yeah. So Bam Box is one of the kind of old school mystery box companies. They started not too long after Loot Crate started. That was like 5-6 years ago. They just launched Integrated Comics, maybe 6 months ago, something like that, 6-7 months ago.
Yes, about that.
So for about $90 a month, you get a signed graded comic every month. I don't know. It's been interesting. They throw in a raw of the same book, so you have a reader copy. They have a couple other little goodies in there.
And the company's based out of Texas, dude.
Yeah.
What part of Texas, Aaron?
Austin. It's like right outside of Austin.
Before I was flipping comics, I was actually flipping mystery boxes for a couple years. So I've got a crap ton of stuff. So what do we got? We got a They've been doing these recently. These little coins. This looks like the boys. So the
Like a
boys Dynamite
challenge coin?
limited mintage 1,000 coin.
Boys
So
coins.
that's one side,
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
and it's an actual coin in there,
Try buying
know.
something with it.
right? Yeah. I think last month, as soon as I opened my pack, I came
This
with a
is last
coin and it
month?
fell on the floor and cracked. All right, so let's get into this. What is the mystery? It's a Barbarella Volume 2, number 6. Let me take it out of the plastic.
By who? Do we know?
Mama.
It is BAM version, Carla Cohen.
Love Carla
Ooh,
Cohen.
Carla
Signed
Cohen.
by
Mama.
Carla Cohen.
Yeah.
love Carla.
Shout out
It's a
to
nice
Bird City
cover.
Comics.
Yeah.
Perillo's one lucky man.
Yeah.
Most of the time they'll do bigger IP, I guess I would say, than although last month it was Vampirella. Maybe they got a thing with Dynamite recently. But they've had
She's
the
on
boys.
the come up, bro. Man, she's
We had the boys number 1 second print one month. We've had there have been some interesting books in there.
Yeah.
So-
Carla
That's a nice
Cohen
book, John.
is
Yeah.
is a
Oh, I have to hit you up. I
superstar.
might want that.
It's pretty.
She's a superstar that people don't realize is a superstar yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you aren't guaranteed a 9.8. I think only 1 month I've gotten a 9.6, but most of the time you'll get a 9.8.
Is it signed by Carla Cohen also?
It is, yep.
Wow.
That's nice.
Oh no,
dude.
I'm
Which is-
sorry. It's not signed by Sarah Hoyt.
Oh, okay.
Send it back.
So this is the writer.
Yeah,
but
because
there
Carla
have been some-
Cohen's in France, right? Is she in France? Or she's somewhere in Europe?
Yeah,
I'm
and she
not
with
sure.
Italy. She's with Lucio Parillo. Parillo.
But most of the
Yeah,
signatures have
she's
been big names.
based
There
in
was a
Italy.
Donny
Yep.
Cates, Donny
French
Cates
French
signature.
illustrator based in Italy.
Okay. Tyler Kirkham did last 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Jay Lee was last month.
yeah. Jay
Oh,
Lee.
you're with them too, Aaron?
Yeah.
You
I used
get
to-
free slabs?
I used to buy their mystery boxes a long time ago.
Oh,
and then-
okay.
Yeah.
So some of them are retailer exclusives for BAM. Some of them are other books, like a ratio variant or other exclusives. So, anyways,
At least you have some stuff
we
to
go
put
full
on
screen.
the whatnot.
Yeah, no, honestly, I've been kind of using them for giveaways.
What is the
Yeah,
cost
man.
on these boxes?
$90
It ends up
right?
being, yeah, like about $90 a month.
That's not bad. That's not
So-
bad, especially
No.
for a gamble, for a nice little gamble, and you know.
And
So
they-
you get one graded book and
one
graded
raw book,
Yep.
and it also comes with a stand that you can display it. It's like that's what this TMNT book is holding. Is one of their stands.
nice.
Yeah. They'll come
Oh,
with
yeah,
the-
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I love
Yeah.
those things. I have like 10 of them sitting right
Yeah.
here. Oh, nice,
raw
very
book,
nice.
Whatever, just some other little.
And then usually like
yeah.
a small little promo item, like the coin. Like they've been doing the coins for like the last 3 months or something like that now.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good. That's a good, nice little product right there.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Alright.
Let's
All right.
let's call it a night.
Yeah. Catch y'all on the flip side. Oops.